if you want to reach like maximum streamer like, logic,
Yeah.
you need to start that red swirly thing like 30 minutes ago.
Yeah, I know, but I feel like that's like you're trying to be way too important.
No. Everyone does that.
I know they do it like a B-Rex.
Everyone's way important.
Yeah,
you just don't know yet.
You gotta pretend like you're way important. Hey everybody, welcome to bonus content. What's up? I'm here, Alex O'Neill. Your boner. I shouldn't say
go
that.
on.
Go. Yes, please elaborate. We got the full cast and crew here for BC. Nicole Humphrey in the chat. Turn on the fog machine. I agree. Tony's here. Scott's here. Nabashin left. He like just got up and went.
Said no.
Yeah, he was like, "Fuck this. I'm out." I think he went to the bathroom or to get a glass of water. Oh, there he is. And our guest Andrew Taylor is here. Andrew Taylor, what's up?
Hi. Not much. How about you?
Nothing. I try and come prepared to these sometimes, but I had nothing in that moment. Andrew,
I have this lighter here, and
Yeah?
what did you tell me when I took the lighter out for the first
you're like
time?
you about to light up a fat blunt. I like.
No, but it's for my candle here that I.
Oh, you have a can? Is that your podcast candle?
Yeah,
Is that your masturbatory candle?
it's my gaming candle, so when I game and sweat everywhere.
No, I can only finish if I fucking smell this candle. Cinnamon. Oh. I don't know why, but in my head...
Tropical breeze, by the way.
Oh,
Sorry.
fuck yeah. In my head, I genuinely, in this moment, had the thought of bonus content should be raunchier.
Well,
After dark.
Yeah,
After
dude, bonus content should be after dark before the podcast, you know what I mean?
It's true. It's true.
Andrew Taylor.
Yeah.
One, I just want to say to you, I love that Discord makes Nabashin center and huge, and the two of us small and off to the right.
It's because we have the cameras.
I wish
all
I
set
could.
up.
I'm looking at it right now. I wish I could like make you. I could focus you.
The bigger
The
one.
centerpiece.
I can make Andrew big right now for everybody.
Yo, if you want to centerpiece me, go for it.
That's what I'm doing right now. Eyes on you, Andrew. I didn't get to see you 2 weeks ago.
I know.
How sad are you?
Jeez, really?
I was pretty sad.
You're sad. I texted
Ask
you.
Liza about it.
I texted you in the middle of the night. Was I drunk when I texted you?
Possibly. But
You would have
there
known.
was-
I would have said.
There was no like drunk dialogue. I was just more like, "Hi." And I was
Oh
like,
no,
"Hey."
it was. I think it was in the afternoon.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I
It was
think-
before the thing, before
Yeah.
the prom.
I was thinking about you.
I appreciate it.
And I talked about you positively to some folks.
Good,
We all missed you very much.
as you should.
But I mean, yes, absolutely. I know. Here's the thing: Roger wasn't there, so it's not like you were separated from your
Thick
fellow
boy?
thick
Yeah.
boy. Hashtag
Thick.
thick boys.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
We're a package deal. That's really what it comes down to.
yeah, you don't go anywhere without Roger possibly being there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you're there, he's there in spirit at the very
Oh
least.
yeah. His force goes through me. Like,
Exactly.
I know that sounds weird, but you
Mm,
get
it
it.
sounds real. Sounds real
You
good. Andrew, you've not been sitting on your laurels though.
What do you mean?
You've been out there fucking streaming and shit.
Not for like 2 months already.
Not for like 2 months, but like
Well,
I'm here to. This is your encouraging push in the ass.
yeah, no, I appreciate that. Streaming is hard, and I'm sure anyone out there who's ever tried to like make it a daily thing has experienced the same thing where it's like, oh, I'm just basically talking to myself for, a better part
Isn't that
of
fucking great?
4 hours. Tony, yeah. Yeah, I mean it is what it is, but you know, it's good practice to like. I think it's really good practice to talk in front of a camera.
Yeah.
You know, if you ever want to get to like make any sort of video where you have to stand in front of a camera, I think streaming is a good place to practice that, because even if and no one's watching, like you still are able to have a conversation with yourself. And I know that might be weird for some people, but I talk to myself all the time and I don't think it's weird. But
Me too. I know it's weird, but I like it so much that I don't care, you know what I mean?
yeah, like the other day I had a this is going to be weird, but like,
Hell yeah, let's get weird.
the other day I had a conversation with myself because I have this neighbor who like specifically hoards a parking spot in our lot. And
That's his
it's like,
spot, dude.
yeah, it's the weirdest thing though. And like he has 2 cars. He has like kind of like a spiffed up Jeep that just has weird things all over it. I don't know. It doesn't look like your normal Jeep, and you can tell that's like his prized possession. And then he has like this beat up like soccer mom van. And so basically what he does is like when he leaves that parking spot, he takes one of the other cars and puts it in that spot.
Wow.
And I was like looking at the window the other day because like he like parked his car and then he took out that car from that parking spot and then took his car that he came in and put it in the spot. And I was like talking to myself. I was like, why is this guy like crazy? Like,
Did the
why
irony
does-
of the situation dawn on you at any point?
Yeah, and like a part of me deep down is like, I just want to steal this guy's spot one day, you know, like somehow.
I just want to crash into his fucking minivan.
You just like come back from the movies, you're like, fuck it, and just like
Just ram right into it. Like, today's my fucking day, George.
yeah, I mean, I don't know, it's weird, but going back to talking to
You
yourself.
steal his spot. You know what you got to do, right?
Oh well,
You gotta key his car.
Tires? Oh yeah,
No, you don't have to key his car. It's you wait until he has to move his car to move the other one in.
Oh,
You
true.
know,
Into the
you're
car,
like,
you steal the spot
And then
you
slide-
stare at him and you
yeah.
say, "You see that spot right there? That's where you're parking today."
you sit in your car, because I imagine it's a situation, going off of what you're telling me, where he's got like both his cars in the parking lot, right? He gets into his like real car that he's leaving with, and then pulls out, and then gets out of that car, gets into the mini. That's fucking next level crazy. I'll let you know.
yeah.
And then
But
you like,
it's because the parking spot is under a tree.
I don't give a shit where the parking spot is. He's a fucking dick.
Yo, I would prefer to park away from trees.
Yeah, like what if fucking
Yeah.
branch fell off?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like a massive tree. It's just like enough to be
It's
like,
shade.
oh, it's shading me from the sun, you know.
So that
Like,
when you get in your
whatever.
car, it's
your
not
windows, bro.
cripplingly hot.
You win.
Yeah.
You did
Yeah,
it.
get tinted windows. Get one of those.
Okay, so here's the thing: if the tree is not big enough to cause damage to a car, it is not like
It's not
big
enough
to
shade.
provide enough shade.
Not a tree.
It's not a. It's a bullshit tree.
It's a focus.
See, I'm glad that I have supporters behind me.
No,
because
no.
I tried to have this conversation with Liza the other day, and she said, "You're crazy for looking at this guy," and I'm like, "I'm not the crazy
I'm
one.
not
Like,
You're
no, I
crazy.
just want the
crazy one."
spot.
No, here's what you do, Andrew. You wait until he parks this nice car in the spot under the tree, and then you
Oh, yeah.
cut down the tree and crash it into his
I don't-
fucking
I don't
car.
know if I don't know if this was covered, but it like does he have like a nice car that he wants to park there, or is it just a car?
It's his
No,
Jeep,
so
right?
yeah. So he's got like it's okay. So think of like the Jurassic Park Jeep, but like pure black.
Oh, so it's a trash car.
Yeah, it's not like banged up at all, but like he has like a huge spoiler on the car that like comes out of the side of the car, so it just looks like really douchey and like stainless steel. And
Does
like,
he have his
whatever.
doors off?
No. The doors are
Okay.
definitely on because
Okay.
if the doors were off, more than likely I'd get drunk and just take like a piss in his car. But like,
I love you.
I'm not gonna do that. So the doors are on. I have no option. I could just pee on the car, but there's no fun in that. So, but yeah, No, this is just like a nice Jeep, and then there's a van, this like shitty like soccer mom van that he has. So he just has these two cars, and he just alternates these things.
Fuck it.
And it's
no,
like,
you
bro, this tree is this.
This tree's not worth it. One, but no, you fucking get in your car and you wait for days until he pulls out, and as soon as he gets out of his car. Just like get into the next car,
into the spot.
Yeah, just go right into the spot, and then never leave it ever. Like fucking put like one of those bike chains on your doorknob to your fucking car
to the tree.
Yeah, to the
car,
tree.
To the tree.
Lock it down, shut it down, never leaving.
Yeah,
you could take the tires off at that point. I don't even give a shit.
Yeah, one thing I do appreciate is the dedication. Like that just sounds like a lot of work just to take cars out, put them back. Like
imagine that was part of your routine, like part of your life.
No. Then truly I have nothing left to live for.
Except for this dope black Jeep, let me tell you.
We just spent like 10 minutes talking about this, which is great.
Which is great. That's what bonus content's all about, man. No, I talk to myself all the time.
Great. I'm glad that's what we came back to.
Legitimately, I have conversations with myself. Yeah. I talk in funny voices.
We're talking about out loud, right?
Oh
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Out loud, I'm speaking to myself.
No, I don't do that.
I do characters.
Scott's the only sane one of all of us. It sounds like
that's very ironic. Now, Scott, do you talk to yourself in your head?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone
is called thinking.
All right, Nabushin. How about you get off your fucking high horse?
No, I'm talking to myself out loud all the time. Like, I'm not chastising you. I'm just saying. That's what thinking.
But like,
that's what.
There's a way of doing it in your head that is very similar to doing it out loud. Like, if I have people around me, I will do that. I'll do what I do out loud in my head. Because I still find it entertaining because I'm weird. I'll accept that. I'll wear that on my sleeve. But yeah, streaming's hard.
Streaming is difficult. Not gonna lie. I'm glad that we came full circle.
How are you doing, Andrew? Just in life and in general.
Good. Well, as some of you might know, I don't have a job right now. It's been almost 2 months of being unemployed. So like, I'm just finding things to. I'm finding
new things to jerk off to. Yeah.
So I got this folder on my computer. It's filled with. At this point, it's just filled with thousands of different anime characters.
Listen, man.
But
that's fucked up.
Yeah, no, that's not. No, anyways, but like recently, I've been like, I should start reading again. So, Alex and I think Nabishin probably know that I've started reading the Harry Potter books for the first time ever, and I'm on the third book right now.
And you'll be watching them too, right?
I watched. Okay, so the last week of June, HBO had all the movies, but like on July 1st is when all the movies are going to be taken off of HBO.
Okay.
So I spent a whole week watching Harry Potter, and it was fun. And like I've seen those movies before, but not for a really long time. And
you're like, man, these last 4 movies are fucking garbage.
That's what all true Potter fans say. So I'll just take your word for it. Once I finally get to those books.
Have you never read the books before?
I've never read the books.
Holy shit! Are you loving it?
Yeah, I really like the third book a lot.
Yeah,
I'm like just about halfway through the third book, and then I'll probably finish that, maybe mid next week, and then go back to the bookstore and get Goblet of Fire.
So you've seen all the movies, though, right?
I've seen all the movies.
So you
more
know
than
the
once.
Story generally.
So I do know the story, but like the thing was like the time like while I was watching these movies like this a couple weeks ago, I realized I was like, there's so many characters in here that probably have cool backstories that aren't being touched on, but they are probably in the book because the book is able to give you more context on what's going on. And with a movie, a book adaptation or a movie adaptation, whatever you want to call it, like they're going to skip things or they're going to change things. So I'm like, all right, well, I should read the books finally. Because I read the first book like 2 years ago. And then I started reading the second. I just like fell off. But then like right after I finished all those movies, I was like, I want to go read the book. So then I powered through the second book in like a week. And then I just got the third book this last weekend. So
nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited.
That's really cool.
I like it.
I'm really interested to see how you feel about the last 3 books because they're so different than the last 4 movies.
Yeah, my friend says that the 5th book is like really boring and kind of filler, but I don't know if you can expand on that or if you agree with that.
So like the 5th book's my favorite book, full disclosure, because of what happens in the 4th book. Harry's going through like clinical depression and PTSD.
Like PTSD, yeah.
And they spent a lot of time like dealing with like him like it's a combination of him trying to like deal with that, him trying to be kind of like a normal teenager, and him also like basically being psychologically tormented by Umbridge. And it's very in depth, like it's very slow paced, which I'm all about the slow burn. I feel like if you like,
I like that too.
Yeah, you like Jessica Jones, much like myself. I feel like if you're into that, you're going to be into the 5th book. It is easier to appreciate upon revisiting. I found. I will say, like the first time I went through the 5th book, it's like it's arduous because it is like it's really depressing. Like it is not. It's not a fun story like I think the majority of the first 4 books are. And you start to see like the tone clearly shifts in the 3rd book. Like as soon as the Dementors show up, it's like, oh, this is fucked up.
Like shit's going on.
Yeah, like Harry like literally hearing his mother die is like a big part of that, and him kind of like having to relive this super traumatic experience and kind of confront that and deal with that. The 5th book is all about that. And it is him dealing with all of the emotions that come with having like mood swings and having anxiety attacks and like not really knowing what's happening to you. And like you're 15 and you have no family. And like there's tension amongst your friends and like they don't know how to deal with it. Like they don't know how to help you. I think it does a really phenomenal job in all of those characteristics though. And it's really cool to see, like it's very much that kind of self-hatred that comes with depression. Of like, I feel like everyone's talking about me behind my back. That kind of paranoia. That's done really well. That is like in my personal depression that I've struggled with. Like that's not an aspect I've had to deal with. But that is something that Harry has to deal with, and feeling like he's not good enough and things like that. And I think the way they go about doing that is really great. So I feel like if you know that going in and you come in it from the angle of like, okay, this is going to be a slow burn, like it takes like 12 chapters before they even get to Hogwarts in that story. I think you'll appreciate it. So I like books that I like tension building. So like I like that slow burn, and I think with his character, it's like he's had such a traumatic life already because like he's had to deal with like his aunt and his uncle who are just pieces of shit, and then like with everything with Sirius, and then just pretty much everything just doesn't go the way he wants it to go, and it sucks. So it's all character development for Harry. Like the person he becomes in the last 2 stories is because of what happens in the 5th book. And I think it's really phenomenal.
Hey, what happens in the 5th book?
Some fucked up shit, man.
Tell me about it.
Fucked up shit.
All right. What if you were like?
I don't want the long story though.
He wants the movie story.
Yeah, if I wanted the long story, I would read the book.
You get tortured, right? Sucks.
Is the 4th book or the 5th book the one where his friend dies in the woods?
No, that's the 4th one.
Oh, okay. Yeah. See, like I never went past that shit.
In the 5th one, he like somebody tries to kill him at the beginning of the book. He gets tortured. He starts a secret organization that's against the rules.
Oh yeah. Well, secrets are typically against the rules,
He like rebels against like this super fucked up like dictator like teacher that's torturing him.
Oh, that stuff was great when I saw it in the movie. Sorry, I'm just remembering.
Then like his essentially the only family member he's ever had dies.
Yeah.
Keegan Wally's down.
Gary Oldman.
He died.
Yeah.
Gary Oldman's very good.
He is. And I feel like he's not in those movies enough.
He's not. He's not in the story enough, but the's like a reason for that. So anyway, I could talk about Harry Potter
Whatever.
all.
Yeah, I would
day.
definitely love to talk about Harry Potter once I'm like completely finished with everything, or
Dude,
like book by book.
If you if you want to do some postmortem podcasts, hit me up, fam.
let's do that. Let's plan that. For sure.
We could do streams of them.
Ooh,
Ooh.
I like
Play
that.
that Connect game. That's like Gears of War.
All right, don't.
Once I had a Harry Potter like Game Boy game, and it was trash.
Yeah, dude. I think I know what you're talking about. It was not good. Anything else going on in your life, Andrew?
Playing games other than reading, working out, that kind of stuff. Seeing a lot of movies because of Movie Pass.
Nice.
Yeah,
AMC's got that new movie pass in. I thought about getting it.
they do,
I might,
but
just because I like
Yeah.
IMAX movies.
I do too.
What did I know, Namshin, where you're at with it? What did you think of Ant-Man, Andrew?
I liked it. I think I need to watch it again because I think maybe my expectations were too high because of what happened in Infinity War, where I was like, oh man, like something big's gonna happen in this one, and it's not like something big didn't happen, literally. But I don't know. Maybe my expectations were. Yeah, you like that? My expectations were a little bit too high, but like I thoroughly enjoyed like everything that I watched, and I thought the villain was a step back. But I do like that more personal story versus like having like this huge like Thanos is coming to like kill everyone kind of thing. So
It's coming to fuck.
yeah, he's coming to bang hard. But like Ghost was cool, but I felt like she could have been in the movie more. So yeah, I mean,
I thought
you don't
Bill-
think she-
like, I think she's actively bad in that movie.
yeah. Like she's not like I didn't think she was like a good actress. Like,
I
don't
liked
think
her
the
story.
portrayal-
I did not like how she was implemented.
Yeah, there was this thing where she was acting. I've seen this actress.
She was acting on the screen. It was fucking
she was, like-
terrible.
So she was like acting, and like I didn't really like that. But like I think I've seen this actress before, but like I think she was in Game of Thrones a couple episodes or something, and then another TV show like on Sci-Fi or something like that. But
Probably fucking
I just-
12 Monkeys or whatever Jacob Bryant's into.
no, that's a good show, and I don't think it's Dumb Monkeys. But like it felt like it was being overacted. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
oh, I'm
Yeah.
gonna be really sinister, but it's like you're not really bad. Like you have a good like your goal is like a really
Especially like I feel like when you're crossed
Yeah.
with Lawrence Fishburne, who's just so good
yeah
at all times. I feel it's hard to like stand up to that.
yeah.
Because I feel
it
like
was-
their
it
scenes
was-
together, it was directly obvious how inferior her part was to his.
Yeah.
You know
It
what I
was,
mean?
it
Like
was weird.
he would do a line, I'm like, this is compelling, and then she would do a line and be like, fuck.
Yeah, you just ruined everything he just said.
Regardless, I fucking love that movie, man.
Yeah, I need to see it again.
I laughed so many times throughout that whole movie. Like,
I laughed quite a bit,
I had
especially
some-
when they went to his daughter's school.
oh
Like, I
yeah,
was
dude.
laughing.
The thing is, like, that was the scene. I have an app called Run Pee, right? Because I have a very weak bladder. Anyone who listens to this podcast knows. The reason the break exists is so I can pee. So it tells me when to go use the bathroom. It told me to use it during that scene. So I was like, I might as well do this. I should have waited. So that ended up being one of the funniest scenes in the movie. I caught like the last third of it though.
Oh, man.
So I got the great stuff with
Yeah.
him and fucking what's his face, Michael Douglas, just fucking give him the juice box spiel.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
That
I
was fucking
definitely-
hysterical. I had some deep guttural laughs.
Yeah,
Michael Pena is
Yeah.
perfect in that role.
yeah, he's really good. And like I really liked like how it all tied together at the end of the movie. Like I don't want to spoil it for anyone that's watching, but like
I was so upset.
I was like, well, I kind of figured that was gonna happen.
Me
Seeing
too,
that
but I
didn't
still
arrest
felt
him.
personally attacked.
Yeah, I was like, man, that was those nom flashbacks. That's
Yeah,
really what I
dude,
wanted.
we tweeted about those fucking non
and then I went and
flashbacks.
saw Infinity War again like 3 days later. And I was because I know I'm just sad at the end of it, but
Yeah.
anyways, yeah.
My theater, the reaction that my theater had to the end of that movie was phenomenal.
Liza got
Yeah,
out.
that's actually
Liza
really
got out of her chair, and she was like, "What? What?"
Like no, a girl, like a woman. It was like a half full theater. It was pretty empty because I saw it like a Sunday morning at 11 a.m. IMAX theater. So it's like the more expensive ticket early on in the day, and a woman stood up and said, "Don't do this to me," and I lost my fucking mind.
That's pretty. She knows the fields.
Yeah.
She knows.
Was it also a good reaction from your theater, Nabashin?
Oh yeah, everybody was. It was like one of those audible gasp type of moments for everybody. So it
No,
was pretty
I
good.
like so many people were yelling full sentences of like feeling personally attacked, and I was just fucking cracking up because of it. It did help lessen the blow for me.
Yeah.
So yeah. You guys want a fucking podcast?
Let's do it.
This bonus content could be all about Andrew. I'm okay with that.
I mean, if you ask me anything, AMA.
We have a fucking question segment in the show for that part.
Okay, great.
So if everybody watching live, if you want to tweet your questions at IrrationalPod, #IPQ, we'll get to them a little bit later. We got a couple, but we'll get to them. We will get to them. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Well, listen, any of you had like no one bought a car this week, so I feel like we didn't.
Yeah, dude. Sorry, I can't buy a new one every week.
Yeah, dude. I'm okay with that. It's probably the fiscally responsible thing to do.
True.
So let's get to it. Let me this still working? Hell yeah, you guys. Andrew, do you have Audacity or whatever your preferred recording software is ready?
Yes, I do have that up and ready to go.
Everybody else ready?
Yep.
Scott, Tony.
Yep.
Nothing yet.
Okay. I'll wait. It's fine. I wonder what happens when I focus me. We'll see. People see my fucking pasty ass. Yeah. You guys can't see this, but I was switching the camera around during the.
Oh yeah, I was curious because I was like, I'm still in the same spot, which means I was in the middle, wasn't?
Well, I basically just makes you big and everyone else very small.
Oh, okay, I see.
It's the only thing I wish Discord video call could do the thing that Hangouts does, where it'll just switch to whoever
that'd
is
be nice.
fucking talking at the moment. I'm trying to see. The cool thing about Discord is I can make you all individually louder or quieter.
That is very nice. Yeah.
We'll go over this again in the show, but for bonus content viewers, we do. Fun fact: Irrational Passions has a Discord now. We've had it for a while, but it hasn't been. It hasn't been like a known thing. But I got Scott White in there to clean it up. He's of the writing team. I know Tony, you and Scott actually use it like every day, but of the writing team, he's the only one that understands Discord.
Gotcha.
Him and
yeah,
Mike,
I've set up like 13 servers in Discord, so I'm kind of.
Oh, I'm aware of some of your servers, sir.
Yeah. It doesn't. I mean, the content is irrelevant. The setup is what's good.
Yeah. Him and Mike are the only people that know Discord. So like, as far as like we were talking about a thing of like, hey, we're gonna try and get into streaming again and have multiple people do it. What's a good thing to have with that? And like,
Dude, I'd be down.
We have
stream.
Well, yeah, we should do a Discord so that people could either chat with us during or like we could talk about it or just, have a kind of community space.
How many members do you have in there?
We have I can't check it right now. I guess I could check it on my phone.
Several thousand.
We have a good amount. I'm pleased with the amount of folks that
I'm trying to find good people to play Siege with.
26, 29, 30. We have 32 people in there now.
Cool.
Including all of us. Yeah, you could hop in there. Do you want me to add you to the Discord? Sure. Let's see. Invite to server. There you go. Invite sent.
Ooh, daddy.
But yeah, I tweeted out the public link. We're gonna have it up in multiple places soon enough. So
Cool.
if you missed it, to anyone listening out there watching right now, you'll be able to catch it. All right, Scott, you ready now?
Yep.
Cool. On one, everybody. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bump, 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 bump. What do you think, Andrew? Because you're a bad friend. Don't watch our show. What do you think of the look?
I like it. I like it a lot.
Okay, I'm just teasing. You know, I'm just joshing with you.
Bad friend, don't watch the show. Damn, that's what I amount to now. All right, bro.
I'm just kidding.
I'll remember that.
And it pops up in the corner. Andrew will remember that. All right. I wish I had my inhaler, y'all. Because you know that adrenaline rush, that like accelerated heart rate that you get after you take a puff of that sweet albuterol. There's nothing quite like it.
Shit's wild, bro.
Let me take a sip. It is Friday, July 13th, Friday the 13th, 2018. You are listening to the Irrational Passions podcast, and I am your host, Alex O'Neill. And joining me this week on this illustrious podcasting occasion, we have Scott Guthier.
Hello.
Tony Horvath.
Hello.
Brian Nobishin Jackson.
Pray for me.
And joining us this week, special guest, friend of the show, my sweet, sweet Colombian spice, Andrew Taylor.
You know, I was gonna say, I don't even know what I'm gonna say right now. Like, you gave me the Colombian spice name, and I don't know where to go from there.
You've got your fucking candle, your podcast candle lit.
Oh yeah. Let me show for everyone else that hadn't seen this before.
Andrew.
Right,
So for listeners at home, Andrew has a candle. Why do you have the? I never asked in the 30-minute pre-show that we did. Why do you have the candle?
honestly, it's my gaming candle.
Yeah.
Like I said before, sometimes when you're in a intense match of Siege,
You gotta smell the cinnamon.
you're just sweating, and it's just profuse, and it's just sour, and you're like, I gotta light this candle, bro. You light it, and then I get that tropical, nice, like mango, like smell just throughout the room, and it just the sweat smell's just gone. It's just gone. So that's what the candle's really meant
You get
for.
the gaming stank on. Andrew, welcome back to the show.
Yeah, it's my third time, I think.
Really? It's only your third
Yeah.
time? Does that include extra life appearances?
No, it doesn't actually.
Okay, so that technically would be your fifth time. If we
Well,
include
because
it.
remember this last Extra Life
Yeah?
where I was like on the show for like 5 seconds?
Yeah, but to be fair, that was like everyone but Greg Miller, because he had to fucking hog the show and call like 4 different video games people during the show.
It's true. That was cool though. That was really cool.
Yeah, man. We got official approval from Brandon Jones to use the bet segment, so
Yeah,
as far as I'm concerned, that's what that entire thing meant.
that was really
I mean,
cool.
and then Dave Lang said a thing.
I was like, fuck Dave Lang, then, I guess.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but
Yeah.
no, Andrew, it's wonderful to have you back on the show. Welcome.
Yeah.
Irrational Passions podcast. This is going to be a good show. I'm feeling high energy tonight. Last week, I was a sleepy boy because I had just gotten back from a trip. I was honestly, last week, still exhausted from my 48 hours of travel that I had to deal with. But this week, I am fucking ready to go. It is Friday the 13th. It is officially Spoopy Day. We've got Andrew here, and we've got video games to talk about, and I don't know. Nobishin didn't close this episode or this evening, so he's fucking ready. I got a fire under his ass. I got a lit candle, a lit podcasting candle under his ass. Andrew's got a lighter. It's a whole thing, but we should start off the show as always with some housekeeping, and then we'll get to a new segment on the show that you've not been privy to, Andrew. So first things first, Irrational Passions podcast, obviously a product of IrrationalPassions.com. That is the place to be for video game stuff. This week, video game stuff includes the 50th episode of Input. I want to say congrats to the good boys, George, Jarrett, and Logan, over hosting Input, a video games news show, our sister podcast or brother podcast or whatever podcast. We don't have to label anything. It's doing well. They've hit their 1 year mark. I'm very, very proud of them. On that episode, they talked about the big story of the last 2 weeks, the ArenaNet firings, and some YouTube drama in regards to Twitch streamers. The works. It's an Input show. So I was going to be on that show, but then I had to work late, and they were like, we're not going to record that late. I'm like, I understand. I would not hold that against you. We got some stuff coming too that I am very excited about. We have a new limited run podcast. I don't necessarily want to get into it right now. I don't want to necessarily announce it because Mike Burgess has put together a video to announce it. A promo video that I've seen, and it's phenomenal, and I'm so excited. I would love for all of you listening, the first time you hear about it, to be that video. I think it's very, very exciting. I'll say, if you like the lineage of this very podcast that I've talked about many a time, this limited run series will get you very excited, but I don't want to give any more hints. I think we were recording the first episode of that next week, and it'll go up before the end of the month. So at some point in July, you will know what our new limited run series is going to be.
Irrational Passions West.
Irrational Passions IP West. Nope. Fool me once. Shame
on me.
Also up this week, game in progress for Donkey Kong's Adventure DLC for Mario plus Rabbids. I guess that technically went up last week, but I just want to promote it again. Really great episode of Game in Progress, Mike Burgess's new show. I'm really excited because there's some plans to do future episodes of that maybe not necessarily something that Mike plays, like the Splatoon and Mario plus Rabbids ones, but like, for example, they announced Moonlighter is getting a bunch of free updates, which anyone who listens to this show knows I was very into that game. So that's getting some free updates. So we might do a game in progress on that I play and write. So I'm pretty stoked about the future of that episode.
That's cool.
But yeah, if you want to just check in with a game that you liked before and kind of see what the newest updates or DLC is for it, Mike Burgess has got you covered. I know he's working on one for Monster Hunter. They just had a big summer update. So, but that's the stuff on the site. In Irrational Passions world news, we have a Discord server up now, available to the public. It is easy to join. I know there's a Twitter link on my Twitter at AlFighter27. We will have it pretty easily accessible in the near future. Goal is to have a place for folks to come together, chat, ask questions, talk about what they've been playing, play games together, and hopefully participate in future Twitch streams as we try and get back into that stuff. Also, fun fact, Discord is probably the best way to communicate with either Tony or Scott.
Fact.
Because they use it every day. So yeah, if you want to talk with them or play
Some
games.
might say I'm connected to Discord 24/7.
24/7.
I'm not that
So
good
you're
with Discord.
So you're telling me I could finally talk to Scott?
You could possibly talk to Scott.
You can
Scott may send a message back once in a fortnight.
It is, but he will not play Fortnite with you.
No, he will not.
Absolutely not.
That is a unit of measure, not a game.
Yes. But it is an actual social media type thing platform that Scott and Tony use. So I think I just want to throw that out there. Andrew, you just joined today.
Like probably 10 minutes ago.
And what's cool is we it's probably like 5 minutes ago, but yes. What's cool is we use Discord to record the show now. So I'm trying to get more into it. and that also means we had to force Nabashin to make a Discord account. So in a way, we are all somewhat accessible on this platform. So I think it's cool. It's a thing that Scott White, one of our columnists, Professor RPG himself, said we should do this. He was right. He helped me set it up. I think it looks good. We're still adding channels and still taking feedback on that. So, like I said, look up the link on Twitter to join. We will have it on our Twitch page and probably YouTube and other places soon. But yeah, that's it for housekeeping. Andrew Nabashin had the great idea of anytime we have a guest on, because any episode of Rational Patches podcast could be someone's first. If it is, I'm always sorry. And welcome. But if it's the first time they've ever heard from you, well, I mean, I'll let Nabashin take it from here.
Sure.
No, this is more of like getting to know you more as a person. So just like questions around video games. There's 3 questions. The first question is always the same. The other 2 is always different for everybody. So like, let's get to know who you are as a person. But like, what's your favorite game of all time, man?
Favorite game of all time, Halo 2.
Really?
Yeah.
Expound.
I will do that. I remember like how excited the first Halo made me after I was finished with it. I remember how much I loved that story, and I remember how much I wanted to be in that world, and I was obviously bummed that I just beat the first game, because then it was the ending of, being in that world, whether or not you replay the game. But once Halo 2 was announced, I was all over that. I was looking at everything I could possibly find in relation to like, how's the game coming along in terms of like development. And I remember when they originally released that first demo of Halo 2 and they showed that you can dual wield, I like pretty much lost my mind. And then I remember the day I got Halo 2, and I think, was that November 11th, 2004 or something like that? When's a true Halo fan would know the release date, but like it's November something, and I just can't remember the year.
Let me DM Alex Van Aken, a fucking real Halo fan.
November 9th, 2004.
November 9th. Okay, there we go. I remember that day because I remember pre-ordering it at GameStop and getting like the steel case edition of the game. And then I remember my dad picking me up from school, and he had the game in the car with me. And like the whole way home, I was just reading like the booklet and like all the characters and weapons and vehicles, like all the bios that the old games used to have, like in terms of, like the manuals or whatever. And then I remember that night my parents went out because they used to, I think they still do, but like they used to like go on date night or whatever. So then I had the whole house to myself, and I just like played Halo 2 till after they even got home. And yeah, Halo 2, like, obviously there's some issues with the story, and I like Halo 3 for what it is, but I think it was just like the hype where it was like Halo 2, just like Halo the game brought the hype for me for what Halo 2 was. And then once I finally played Halo 2, it was like, holy smokes, like what's going to happen next? Like where is the story going to go from here? And I thought it was so cool that the end of the game is Master Chief is coming back to Earth, and there's just like this huge battle going on. And then, the tagline for the third game is finish the fight 3 games later, but,
and then the tagline for Halo 4 was start the fight again.
One more time.
One more time.
Yeah. So, but yeah. I think I was in 4th grade at the time, 4th or 5th grade. I can't quite remember when the game came out, and like I didn't really have kind of like that gaming voice or whatever you want to call it that was as unique as it is today, where I'm into a lot of different video games. But as a little kid who likes explosions and things like that, Halo 2 it was right up my alley at that time. So I think it was just the hype at that time that was what I really cherished, and that's Halo 2 brought that hype, and I've never been as excited for a game as I was with Halo 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Next question. Is there a game that you can undoubtedly say that you're really good at?
I want to say Rainbow Six Siege, but like
I've watched your streams, Andrew. We know that's not. I'm just kidding.
we know that's not true. But like I have my ups and downs with that game where someone will come from ranked matches and just come into a match and just ruin my whole day and somehow peek me from an angle that I didn't even know existed and get like a headshot with like one bullet.
Yeah, but they're fucking campers, dude.
Well, they just know the map. Like the thing about Siege is like map knowledge and spawn points and knowing everything about where the objective is going to be or where you're going to spawn. Like that all matters to like how well a player can be in that game. I really feel like. So, I mean, when you see someone who has a rank of like, well, if their level is say 200, they've just played a lot of Siege. That doesn't mean that they're good, but like if their rank is like diamond, like you know that they're good, and it'll show like their win-loss ratio and their kill death ratio as well. So I mean, if it's good, then you know that player is probably pretty good. But yeah, I want to say I'm good at Siege, but another game that I feel like I'm undoubtedly good at is like, if I'm going to be honest. I'm not like, I can't really brag about that game because I haven't played Guitar Hero in a really long time, but I never was able to. What was that one song? I think it was like on Guitar Hero 3, like Through the Fire and the Flames.
Yeah.
I never was able to 100% that song, like perfect it. So I'm really good at Guitar Hero though. But
have you watched videos of people that could do that?
Oh yeah.
But they're all fucking nerds. You know what I mean?
Like there's some they probably all have carpal tunnel, to be honest.
Absolutely.
But like they hold the guitar like a different way so that they can strum it faster. Like weird things like that. So.
I used to play all these games, then I graduated to even harder versions on PC, and I did almost get carpal tunnel.
It's true. Then Tony had to stop because he was destroying his hand.
Yeah, and I like it. It's funny about that because I sometimes when I'm at the gym and like I'm lifting weights or whatever, like my left wrist sometimes hurts, and I'm like, is it because of Guitar Hero? Like all these years coming back to haunt me. Yeah. So yeah.
It's too much jerking off. Yeah, it's right.
I saw what you
heard me.
Yeah.
And last question. What video game character would you say is the most like you?
Oh, this is a good one for Andrew. There's one answer to this that I thought of immediately. I don't know why. I'm curious what your answer is gonna be.
Can you give me a clue for
No,
that
I'm
one?
not. I'm not. My answer is just what I think, and it's a joke, and it's bad. I want to know what your genuine actual answer is.
Oh man, that's a question I've never been asked before, so it's not something.
Amazon's good at these.
About.
I will let you know.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Question: video game character that I most like, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It can also be like there isn't one because they, doesn't represent everybody.
Yeah, I really don't feel like there is one that represents me. Like, I don't know. Like Alex, tell me a character. Even though like you say, oh, it's just
my joke was Big the Cat because I thought it was really funny.
Is it because I'm fat?
No, it's because he's got the fucking
cat.
It's because he's got the fucking fishing rod.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
No, I see Big the Cat and just how doofy he is, and I'm like, that's the injury right there. I just want to hug him.
I am pretty doofy, so I mean, if
no, I'm trying to think like what's the Persona character you relate to the most of all the Persona games?
Oh man,
I guess you've not really played any of them to completion, so
I haven't, and that's the honest truth. I can't say I don't think I'm really any of those characters. Too melodramatic. I'm not that melodramatic. Sorry.
You gotta get with the times, man. Be dramatic. What Kingdom Hearts character are you like a very Roxas like human being?
I've never played a Kingdom Hearts game.
Yeah.
Good. Keep it that way, dude.
But I did buy Liza that Kingdom Hearts collection.
I was gonna ask for the update. We'll get to there in a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Trico from The Last Guardian.
Yeah, I could definitely be that. I jump from high places and things like that. There was one character I was thinking of. I can't slip my mind because you brought up Persona. and I was like,
Donkey Kong.
Yeah, he's thick. Oh, there is Waluigi, or not Waluigi. I'm not Waluigi.
Wario?
Or wait, yeah, Wario. Yeah, he's thick.
He's a thick boy.
Kirby, like he's silent, but he's deadly as fuck.
Oh yeah.
And
Kirby
he's
murders people. Let's
Kirby,
be real.
like, like everyone says, oh man, Nathan Drake, yeah, you time like murdering people, but really, when you think about it, Kirby's the one big mass murderer. He's actually eating his victim
and shitting them out as fucking
and then
glowing
shitting them out.
stars.
Yeah,
And
they're
wearing
just
their skins.
and they're just gone, so they cease to exist. Yeah, probably Kirby.
Dude, I'm right. Yeah, Kirby. Okay. That's a tough question. I don't know. Like,
It is a tough question, and now because Nabishin gave me that question, I'm gonna find the true character that I relate to the most,
and
I'll
then
get
wear
back
their
to you.
skin.
And then next time when you ask me out to ask me to come on the show, I'll be wearing
ask
their
me out.
skin.
Yeah.
Yeah, next time you ask me out,
Oh no.
Still waiting.
Now I do. So you came to me. A total aside. Now that we've moved on, you came to me and asked me on behalf of Liza, your significant other, like, hey, we want to do the Kingdom Hearts. What do we do? And I gave you a recommendation. What's the update on that?
so we got that collection
Yeah.
where it was, I think it's like 1.5 and 2 point
5.
something. Yeah,
1.5 and
like,
2.5.
I respect Kingdom Hearts. I want
No,
to
you
make sure
don't.
that both. Yes, I do. I want to make sure that both you and Nabishin understand. I do.
And
respect.
me?
And
Scott.
I didn't know Scott
We
was.
we can't leave Scott out of this because I've done that
Dude,
too many
it's
times.
just me here. Like it, and it
So-
sucks.
Absolutely just him.
Sounds like I don't think
Not
it's
a-
I don't think it sucks. I just think I'm confused as to what exactly the hell is going on.
That's totally fair.
Sucks.
but
That's fair. Enjoy the ride.
Enjoy the ride.
okay.
man.
But so Liza has played it to some extent. We got sidetracked with because Trevor Starkey bought us the for our Extra Life Secret Santa. He got us the Harry Potter Lego games.
Oh, nice.
So we got sidetracked whatever from Kingdom Hearts and played Harry Potter instead. So I need to get her to get back on that because from what I didn't watch her really play that game at all whatsoever because Siege, but from what I understand, she really does like Kingdom Hearts. So
Hell yeah.
yeah,
Sorry.
it's just I'm sure one day I'm gonna text either you or Nabishin and be like, "Can you guys just break it down for me?" Because like the other day I just saw a list of all these Kingdom Hearts games. I'm like, so why is it taking so long for?
To be fair,
Kingdom
you only have
Hearts
to play
3
7 of them.
It just I don't know. It doesn't make sense, but it's not like I'm like that game really does suck because I don't understand it. But
We'll get you there, man. Enjoy the ride, just like Scott said.
Someday.
Nah, get into it, dude. It's worth it, I promise.
Dude, it's Nabishin's fucking. Here's my fucking hot video game take tweet. This isn't for you, Tony. You guys want to talk about video games?
Yeah.
Andrew, what video games you been playing?
So let me go to my list here.
Okay.
In the Google Docs. So obviously talked about Rainbow Six Siege. I could talk about Rainbow Six Siege for quite some time, but I won't bore everyone else to death here. But the other night I tweeted it out. I finished the Netflix Castlevania series again, or the first season.
Phenomenal.
And I was like, man, this is so good. And I wish this wasn't just 4 episodes long. And I wish I didn't have to wait till October to get season 2. And then
I thought it was August this whole time. So when I saw that tweet, I was like, fuck.
I'm sorry to keep you disappointed, but I was like, you know what? I haven't played a Castlevania game in so long. And you know what? I never played like the granddaddy of all Metroidvania games, Symphony of the Night.
Sympathy of the Night is my like
Sympathy of
solo
the Night.
jazz album. That
So yeah, it sounds
you
like
know.
an anime on Crunchyroll or something.
Hell yeah.
So I booted up my Vita. It was like 3 a.m. the other night, and I was like, all right, let's give this a shot. So I remember that there was like a sale like a couple years ago, and this game was on sale. And I bought the game because it was like a PS1 classic that you could play on your Vita. And I was like, this brought back all the memories. I can't remember which one it is, but it brought back all the memories of the DS Castlevania game.
Mm-hmm. Order of Ecclesia?
Yep, that's the one. And I
Damn.
played the shit out of that game. And I think I 100% of that game too. And that was my first Castlevania game I ever played. So then the other night, 3 a.m, I was just playing Symphony of the Night, and I was like, man, this is really, really good. And it's obviously that so many games have taken that formula of Metroidvania and have, I don't know if I want to say like perfected it, but like, you know, they've definitely taken notes from that game for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever beaten that game, Alex?
I've never beaten it. It's so weird. Like I've tried so many times, but I've never successfully gotten into any Castlevania game. Like
Really?
and
Okay.
it's so messed up because like I guess I'm just like on the Metroid end of things, of the Metroidvania conversation. Like I've played all the Metroid games. I love all of them, even Metroid 2.
Yeah.
And
Other M.
I like Other M. Love is a strong word in regards to that game. But like even still, like the Metroidvania exploration parts of that game are still really rad.
Yeah.
And I like Symphony of the Night is the one I got into and got the deepest into. Right. It's funny because my mom really liked the DS and GBA ones. And she got way into those games. I never could, and she would always suggest them to me, but there's something about it that just doesn't click with me.
Yeah.
It might be the RPG mechanics,
Maybe.
or like the leveling. I don't know, or like the different weapons.
There's spoopy monsters.
No, the spoopy monsters are fine.
I don't know. I think it's the spoopy monsters.
You know, maybe you guys are bringing up really great arguments. But like I don't know, it's just it never jived with me. It's funny you bring this up as a quick aside though, like because fucking Roger Picorni, your friend and mine, friend of the show, he recently watched the Castlevania Netflix series and then played and beat Symphony of the Night, and he fucking adored it.
That's awesome.
So he went through a very similar situation.
Yeah.
Have you finished Symphony of the Night?
No, I just started it the other night, so I've just been sidetracked with Siege, and Octopath came out today. I played a little bit of that before the show, so I plan on going back to it. It's so strange picking up your Vita after such a long time from not playing it, and it
Wiping the
sucks because
thick layer of dust off.
that's exactly what I did, and it sucks. Like, we could talk about the Vita another time, but it is such a great little console, like a great little handheld. So I'm glad that I was able to have some way of starting to play that game, because I was like, I have a Castlevania game, I just don't know. And then I was like, oh yeah, it's on my Vita. So then I booted up my Vita after it being dead for probably like the last 6 months the other night. So have any of you other guys played a game or any game that you guys got into?
Castlevania wise, not really. I've tried Symphony of the Night. I never finished it either. I do like it though. It looks great and looks amazing.
It's a
gorgeous.
great looking game. It's
Absolutely
super gorgeous. Yeah, the animation is top notch.
Yeah, I did get that Bloodstained game though. The 8-bit one that's on PSN right now. That's pretty fun.
So I haven't tried that yet. Like, what can you? Is it just pretty basic, or is it kind of like
it calls back to like the NES versions of the Castlevania games? So it's like you'll have like a, like your delivery, like you have like a little whip delay, and it's like you do like a little bit of platforming, stuff like that. It's fun for what it is. It's very retro.
Okay,
but like what you see is what you get pretty much after if you see like a video of it. It's like that's exactly what that game is.
Okay, because I have the demo code, or not the demo code. I actually helped kickstart Bloodstained, so I have the game code on my my Switch. So
Okay, cool.
I'm in for Bloodstained for sure.
I am so in for that game too.
Like that is gonna be like my make or break. Like I feel like if I can't get into that, like this is the modern Symphony of the Night. You know, if I can't get into that, I feel like it's a wash for Castlevania for me. But I'm definitely willing to try.
Yeah, I think like a lot of people get discouraged with Castlevania because of the Metroidvania style of things. Like it can be overwhelming. Like I have Hollow Knight on this list too, and Hollow Knight is fantastic. And Alex, I know that you agree. There's just like this sense of just being lost that I really like, and not knowing where the fuck you are.
Yeah, like
and it's cool.
That there is, I don't know where the divide is. Like I said, because I've tried with so many Castlevania type games. But like in Metroid, there's not like, I feel like there's so many things that you feel like you need to do in Castlevania games, whereas in Metroid, like I know the tools I have, like I know what I have, I know what I can do at any given time. So it is a thing of like I don't have to equip a certain weapon or equip a certain sub weapon or like level up or grind or anything. I can I have this ability now, so I can do this, right? It is a little bit simpler, and it's that's not necessarily what I'm looking for all the time. Lord knows I play enough JRPGs to fucking crave absurdly complex things. But in the Castlevania setting, like when you are just kind of thrown into a world and you're supposed to get lost so that you can find your way again, I like it. I guess maybe I just like having it reduced to you have this ability and now you can do this.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Like,
but again,
I appreciate
it's just a theory. Like I don't know for sure.
Yeah, I because it's hard for some people to get into something like that where it's like, here it is, versus like Metroid where it's very to the point. It knows exactly what it wants to do. So I need to go back to Samus Returns for sure.
It's good. Yeah, it is. It is worth finishing.
Such a good game. Yeah.
It's funny because I think I've gone on record saying like in a lot of ways, and I say this with all my favorites of anything, like if Metroidvania is like my favorite genre, because it's not necessarily like my top 5 favorite games, like none of them are Metroidvanias, but if we want to talk about like the loop of a video game that I like to play and experience, it's probably Metroidvania. It is like maybe the most satisfying feel for me, especially like coming off of Hollow Knight, and just like the highs in that game for me were so high. Higher than fucking Andrew lighting up that fat blunt with his lighter before the show. Andrew's just been fingering a lighter the whole time we've been on this show.
It's what I do, man.
But it is just like so satisfying for me. So like on paper, there's no reason why I shouldn't love all Castlevania games, but I don't know what it is. One of these days I'll figure it out.
It's fine. Like you said, Bloodstain is kind of like it's make or break for you. So maybe Bloodstain just really clicks with you. And
I'm hoping
you have that drive to just go back and like finish those games. So.
Yeah. And it'll help that it's like it is a new game. Like I'm not going back to something like this is a new thing. Is that this year? That is. It's like October, right?
Yeah, they're hoping to get it out this year.
Okay. Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to that. I was gonna say something else, but have you played Ori and the Blind Forest?
No, I don't have an Xbox, so
it's on PC.
Oh, it is on PC?
Yeah.
Oh, well then I'll probably check it out. I have not played that game though.
It's so good.
I've heard many good things though.
It is maybe better than Hollow Knight as far as like a modern adaptation of a Metroid game. It's probably a coin flip with me at this point because I like both of those games so much. It is not like Hollow Knight I'm like 43 hours into, or in the Blind Forest is like 10 hours to fully complete, maybe.
Okay.
It is a much more consumable game, but it is not any worse for that. So
yeah, depends on what your schedule allows you to.
Yeah, Ori is just it is a smaller area to deal with, but it is it is equally as good.
Yeah. Cool.
What else have you been playing?
Yeah, Octopath just came out today. I played a little bit of that before the show. I played the demo that was released post E3, and it was the first 3 hours of the game. So during those 3 hours, I got like the first two characters and did their stories, and now they're together and they're going on that journey. But now I'm starting a third character. I'm starting their story, and it's the scholar, and he has to like basically solve this mystery. So it's, you know, it's I know, Alex, that you said it's not, you feel like it's not for you. It's a pretty bare bones JRPG, and I think that's why I'm so attracted to it, because, and also the art style is fantastic.
It looks so good.
It looks really good, and it plays really well. So I think for me, it's like, the thing about this game is it's a simplistic JRPG. For me personally, I get very overwhelmed very easily when you have like those complex systems that are like, things just stack upon each other just over and over again. So I appreciate this game, and I want to spend a lot of time with this game because it's just super straightforward. It's just like those classic NES like JRPGs. So or SNES JRPGs. So that's really what I'm looking forward to. And yeah, I know I beat the 3 hour demo, and now just going from there. So I'm really excited to keep going. So
now in the Irrational Passion Slack, George Cruz was talking shit about that art style, and he said it hurts his eyes to look at it.
Really?
Yeah. What was your response to that, Andrew?
You know, George has his hot takes, and I'm going to respect those hot takes. Yeah, I could see, I guess I could see what he's coming from, but for me, it's incredibly like alluring, because it's like, it has that sprite style, right? But then the camera does like this weird thing where it's like a vignette on the side, and it just like looks kind of blurred out on the sides of the screen. So it just looks really, really cool.
It does stuff with like draw distance too, where the stuff in the background is all blurred out, and it just looks so good. Yeah.
So maybe, you know, if I don't know if he's being serious, if it actually does hurt his eyes or not, but
I think he didn't understand what the appeal was.
Yeah, and that's totally fine.
It's not fine. George is right.
I'm a sucker for art style. If the art style is really cool, like that's really what it's gonna draw, you know, for me. So with like Hollow Knight, like the art style in that game is really cool too. But also the gameplay and everything else about that game is awesome. So, you know, I definitely shouldn't be one of those people that judges the book by its cover. Sometimes I do that, but a lot of the times,
I was gonna make that joke and I stopped myself, but then you did it, so now I'm happy.
That's what Nobishin's here for, is the
doo-doo jokes.
Yeah, the doo-doo jokes.
Very subtle.
But like, I think for me, what it is I like playing things or trying things out that other people suggest for me. And it's not that I don't want to like find my own voice within the gaming community or realm or whatever you want to call it, but like, I also want to be a part of the conversation too. So like with Hollow Knight, that game appealed to me because of the art style, because I knew it was a Metroidvania game. But then when I saw that everyone else was talking about it, I was like, I really want to play that game. I started playing that game. That game is really good.
Yeah, dude, Hollow Knight.
Yeah, I can't recommend that game enough. Like,
how deep are you
into
that?
I don't even like. Is there a way to tell like how far
your game time just is usually my point of reference?
Oh, I'm like 6 hours in.
Okay,
so like probably. Because I think it was like, what, 40 hours for you?
Yeah, but I also did like literally everything.
Everything? Okay. So yeah. Like, I'm not, in terms of like a Metroidvania game, I'm probably not deep, you know, whatever. But yeah, I mean, everything I've seen so far is really great. So
it's the first like, so, you know, we had Blessing on this show a couple months ago.
Yeah.
And he presented his case. He presented a very great case for Donkey Kong 64 that I really liked. It is like the Skyrim of the N64 era. Like, it just keeps giving and giving and giving. It is the first time I felt that for a Metroidvania. A game that is just jam fucking packed with things to do. Yeah. And it never lets up, and it never. If you want more from that game, it has got it for you. And I just kept finding new things and new areas, and I just love that about that game.
Like, another thing I appreciate about that game is like you're getting your money's worth. You know, dude. It is a deal. It's a steal essentially. You know. In terms of a video game, so
Hollow Knight is a $60 game that you can pay $15 for.
$15,
in my opinion.
Yep. Yeah. And I know that you mentioned this earlier, but you were talking about Moonlighter, and I saw Mike's review that he did, and I was like, "Damn, I really want to play that game, but I want to play it on the Switch."
Later this year, man.
Yeah. So I'm waiting for that, and I'm definitely going to play the game.
It is a great Switch game. Hopefully, it is like a little less buggy by the time it comes to the Switch. I ended up liking that game more than Mike did, but still, that's another phenomenal game.
Sure. Yeah.
Namashine, you've also been playing Hollow Knight.
Oh yeah.
What do you think of it so far?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
How deep are you?
I don't know how many hours I am. Maybe like 6 or 7 hours, maybe.
Okay, roughly the same amount. Are you gonna stick with it?
Yeah. Like when I play it, it reminds me a lot of like or it makes me nostalgic for like and not to discredit anything that came out this generation, but like for like or even that game itself, but it feels like something I would play back in the PSN Xbox 360 era. It feels like one of those games where it's like
summer arcade era, you know?
Yeah, but like when you play Limbo for the first time, or even Dust and Elysian Tale, it's like one of those games that is like, wow, this is like a full package word for the game. Not to say something like Cuphead isn't, but like Cuphead seems like a very this generation game. This is like more of a throwback to something that was like in something like a summer arcade type of game, where it's like it feels you're getting a lot more than what it's worth type of thing.
I like that. Yeah, I like that comparison. Yeah, I would recommend both of you stick with it.
With it.
It's a gift that keeps on giving, in my opinion. I played a little bit of it this week as well, and it was just another thing. There was like one last challenge. Like there's a Coliseum where you can do challenges. There's one last challenge that I want to do there, and I literally went. There's a journal that you get to log all the enemies that you fight. And essentially if you fight and kill an enemy, it gets added to the journal. But to complete the journal entry for that enemy, you have to kill it a certain number of times in the world. This last week when I was playing it for this week, I went and completed every single journal entry for every enemy. And I had done most of them just naturally throughout the game, but there were still like 30 or so that I had to go back and get, and I was like just so ecstatic to go back into that world and just fight in that world again that I was happy to do it. So that's what kind of pushed me past like the 42-hour mark that I was at. And there's a really you don't get a lot for doing that. It's a very small thing, but I found it very rewarding for what you get. Have you found the journal yet?
I'm not there, no.
Okay.
No. But
Jarrett Green talks shit about that game all the time because he says it has bad checkpoints.
Oh, Hollow Knight?
Yeah. I disagree. But
man, you got a crew of hot take like these.
It's true.
These Input boys got the hot takes.
It's funny because like Input has a rule. The only rule in Input is no hot takes. Only like.
But Logan has like.
Logan's got hot takes, dude.
Does he though? Like I feel like
he fucking hates The Legend of Zelda. Like.
Okay, yeah.
He's got some takes. The thing is, I
forgot about that.
I was listening to this month's Stir Fry, OKB's Patreon exclusive show.
Yeah.
And Blessing gets so fucking worked up on that episode because he's like, name a hot take that I've had. Like actually name one. Outside of like anything that isn't Uncharted related because he doesn't like those games, but that's fine. And not that Donkey Kong 64 is good, actually. And no one could name one. The only one I could think of listening to that episode was when he was fucking blowing up a tweet storm about Dreams when he first saw that game, and he was like, "Dreams is the best game."
I was standing next to him,
Yeah,
because him and I had gone. This was at PSX this last year,
yeah,
and he was like, "Hey man, look what's going on," and I was like, "Oh dude, Dreams is over there." So then he and I went over there and watched Shuhei Yoshida play the game for like an hour, and Blessing turns to me, he goes, "This is the best game I've ever seen." And I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, I don't even know if we've even seen the game. But I was like, I mean, to each their own, but
yeah, I mean, he was really impressed by it. But the thing is, like, he isn't the only one that's had that reaction. Like, Brandon Jones from Easy Allies also had a very visceral reaction to that game.
Yeah.
So even that, I think, is a less hot. But he was saying that.
It is impressive.
And then I was fucking thinking of my fucking dudes over on Input, and all of them fucking spew it. George Cruz spews takes like nobody's business.
Like, his Twitter is just hot takes.
It's
And if George is
unsolicited.
listening, it's not that I don't hate the hot takes, but your Twitter is just hot takes.
The thing is, like, he is usually joking.
Yeah.
But and he has established his tone. Like, we know he's kidding, but
I know his brand and I respect his brand. Like, I just.
But it's really funny to think about it that way.
Yeah.
All the hot takes from the Input crew. Have you been playing anything else, Andrew?
No, that's really it. Like I said, I've been reading lots of Harry Potter, so that's taken up a pretty vast majority of my time.
An important diversion, I think.
Yes.
Tony Horvath.
Hey.
Video games.
So I've been playing League of Legends.
Man, how's League of Legends treating you?
It's all right. I'm playing a little bit less of that this week than the other game that I've been playing. But yeah, it's all right. Like, I actually have just been getting people on, and we play like the AR Earth, which is their they only roll this game mode out during events, and it's a bunch of and basically they remove all the cooldowns and resource costs from the game. So you can just spam your abilities on every single character. So you just are given a random character and you fight, and you do the normal game, but you can just spam your abilities the whole time, and it's pretty fun. So I've been doing that, and then more. Most of my time that I've had for video games this week has gone to the new season of Diablo 3.
Oh, cool. Can I take a brief diversion? To fill the listeners in on a conversation that we all had this last week. Nabish and I had a side bet. I don't even remember what the fucking initial bet was. It was from the Game Awards, right? That's about something.
No. It was Giant Bomb Game of the Year.
Oh, that's right. It was Giant Bomb Game of the Year.
Dude.
Oh man, was that 2016?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's been an entire year since I even
shit.
fucking did it.
Nabish and I had a side bet that I said Doom wouldn't be Giant Bomb's Game of the Year for 2016, and Nabish said it would be. It wasn't. It was Hitman, which was still a good pick. Looking back, great pick. PUBG, but the bet was if I lost, I'd have to play Red Dead Redemption before Red Dead Redemption 2 came out, and stream it, right? And if Namashin lost, he'd have to play Final Fantasy VII and stream it before the next major Japanese-developed Square Enix game released, which... Fun fact, I guess it makes it better, honestly, that in all of 2017 went by, none of those games came out. But we have now determined that that game will be Dragon Quest 11, which comes out, September 7th?
Maybe September 4th, something around there, yeah.
Yes, September 4th. So Namashin has to play and stream Final Fantasy VII between then. Now, we had a text conversation in our group text message to play in the show about if Namashin doesn't do that, because we're getting close, it's literally been a year since the last time I even played the game, and that's because that's when I met Nicole. I met Nicole through that, and that's been over a year now. So I was like, whatever, man. I need to fucking play this fucking game. So Namashin's like, all right, what is my punishment if I don't do this to raise the stakes so that I'll just fucking do it? And Scott and Tony had the good idea of like, we're gonna fucking play League of Legends. Like the four of us, we're gonna get together. We're gonna dedicate an entire day, like 8 hours, to playing League of Legends and training Nabashin on how to play League of Legends. And Nabashin said that he would rather do that than my dumb joke suggestion was for, what was it, a month of the podcast, so 4 episodes of the podcast, Nabashin would have to be on camera and wearing a Cloud Strife spiky-haired wig. And Nabashin said, see, that's motivation, being on camera. Now I feel the kick in the ass to do it. So are we locking in that is the official punishment if you don't do this?
I can do both.
You play.
I'm down for both.
I'm down for both too.
Yeah.
We'd have to pick a day.
It's been 2 fucking years. Like I need to get it done.
It's true. Okay, so we'll lock it in. We will get Nabashin. I will jump back in the league trenches.
He'll join the league once again.
The thing is, Tony, I'm genuinely terrified that if I do that, I'll fucking start playing League of Legends.
You're gonna like it.
Yeah, it's very much like
Dude,
the
you know who's
situation.
real strong right now?
Who?
Garen.
Fuck my guy, my sweet boy. So those are the stakes. Now that we've said it on the show, we can lock that bad boy in. If Nabashin does not finish Final Fantasy VII, I don't even care if you stream it. I know it's part of the original bet. But I'll say you are allowed to play it without streaming it.
It has to be the way it's done, dude. I can't fucking have changed this shit.
The thing is, like, I don't know how much free time you'll have to stream that game. 3 a.m. streams coming at you from Brian Nabashin Jackson. Lock that in.
Late night content.
Late night hashtag content. Sorry, it was League of Legends related. But let's talk about Diablo 3, Tony.
Yeah, so I mean, it's the funny thing is like the past 2 seasons and this season have all been on the same patch. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people are not super happy about that specifically with Diablo. Is like they haven't done anything with it. They're just like, hey, we reset the leaderboards again. Have fun. But you know, I'm cool with it. Like I have a specific group of 4 people, including myself, that we play the season together once every couple seasons. And we'll grind together and, you know, try and progress up the leaderboard and do the highest possible difficulty that we can. Then we eventually get bored and stop playing. But, you know, for the time that we're playing it, it's a solid, like, month of having this hot, like, loot game that we basically started from scratch and, you know, bringing in only our knowledge of how to play the game. Mm-hmm. And, you know, it's a group effort. You know, like, we all grind together and try and share loot. This season in particular, there's a really strong build for a group of 3 necromancers and 1 barbarian, and we're trying that out. So 3 of us are playing necromancers, and 1's playing a barbarian. So it's like 2 damage necromancers, 1 support necromancer, 1 support barbarian, and like the dynamic of how you play that group is really interesting. So we're all having a good time.
That sounds cool.
Kind of going through. Yeah, it actually the way that this group functions is really neat because like. Typically in Diablo, you think of like each character you're trying to build, and you could play the game solo. Each class is very much able to do a ton of damage, and each one is viable. But then some of the more interesting builds in the game don't do any damage. They're called ZDPS builds because they do 0 DPS. And in this one in particular, it's 2 damage builds and 2 support ZDPS builds. So, and the way that they work, the 2 necromancers, they summon skeletal mages, and it uses all of their mana to summon 1. And, if you since you're spending more, it summons a really powerful one. The thing is, to make that work and make it really powerful, the rest of your build doesn't give you any way to regenerate your mana. So how are you going to summon more than 1 mage, because they only last like 10 seconds? There's one specific item that they introduced recently to the game, which is a bracers that whenever you pick up a health globe, which are these little red health globes that spawn from enemies as they die, sometimes you get 30% of your resource back. Mm-hmm. And that's the whole party. So basically you have 2 necromancers set up to do maximum damage with no way to get their mana back. But then you have a barbarian whose whole purpose is to CC enemies, not lock them in crowd control, and also like every single item that he picks up, he'll roll for the extra bonus of increased orb pickup radius. And then since it's a necromancer's kind of work on blood orbs, there's a way to build the necromancer so that he doesn't do any damage, but all he does is spam abilities to generate shit tons of health orbs.
Yes.
So when everything's working together, this blood orb necromancer leads the party through, generates a ton of blood orbs. Meanwhile, the barbarian, with his giant radius of picking them up, follows the whole party picking them up. So every 4 that he picks up fully replenishes the 2 DPS necromancers pool of mana, and every time that's full, the 2 DPS necromancers will summon more mages. So you just got like 20 just disgustingly powerful skeleton mages running around with the party and just deleting stuff, and it's super cool.
It's cool because I recently played a little bit of Diablo 3 just because I needed a comfort food game, and I got the Necromancer DLC.
Yeah, man, I feel like Diablo 3 is definitely that comfort food game.
Absolutely.
You know?
Anytime
it's as casual as you want it to be,
Yeah.
and at times can be as as intensive as you want it to be.
Yeah. If you just need to lay back and just kill hordes of monsters, it is
You can do that.
such a good fix for that, which is what I needed at the time. I think it was like coming off of God of War, and I was in a funk. And the Necromancer is really cool, and it's funny now because like after you've brought it up on the show a couple of times in the past, it is cool to see how, like, oh man, like I'd love to see this work in a group dynamic versus a solo dynamic. But even still, in a solo dynamic, those characters have all these different ways you can build them out to be really cool.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's basically it for Diablo. But it's the same loot grind as it always has been. I think it will be that way until Diablo 4 comes out, which they confirmed a while ago is something they're working on, but who knows when that'll ever happen. It's Blizzard. I'm happy that they will take their time to make it something interesting, because to be honest with you, I don't know what I would do for Diablo 4. I think they've kind of exhausted a lot of the Diablo stuff with Diablo 3. So I'm excited and interested at the same time to see what they can possibly do for D4.
Yeah. It's been what? 6 years? Was it 2012?
A real fucking long time.
Yeah, it's been a minute. And to be fair, like Blizzard, they take all the fucking time they want and or need. So
yeah, for sure. And I think that's fine. I think that for now that what they're doing right now with the seasons is a really good idea. And I think that's why the only reason that this game still is, people are playing it is because of those seasons. Mm-hmm. So they bought themselves a lot of time with that.
Yeah. And they're still supporting it, just like everything else,
Sort of. That's kind of, the thing that people are getting at when it's like, this game is running on the same patch as it was 3 seasons ago.
Yeah.
And it used to be every season started with a big patch.
Yeah.
So
true.
I don't know. That also kind of means that they've reached a level of balance in the game that they like and a level of diversity. But obviously, that means for 3 seasons, the best party for progressing leaderboards has basically been the same because there haven't been any big changes.
Yeah, it could also mean that they've pulled resources to work on something new. So
exactly.
Whatever Diablo 4 is,
that should be cool. See
I'm
you
here
in
for it.
2025.
Yup. It was the Diablo 3 launch was still a very, very great stream.
Yeah.
For
Irrational
Irrational Passions. Anything else you've been playing?
Okay, so we didn't talk about it in bonus content, but I bought a new phone this week.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, I bought a Samsung Galaxy S9 because it wasn't just because my phone was getting old, even though it was kind of getting old and I wanted to upgrade it. Mm-hmm. I wasn't planning on doing it, and then I was calling my dad the other day. Then because he had he called me and wanted to talk about something. He was like, "Hey, I can't hear you through your phone. It sounds super messed up." And I was like, "Oh, that's not good." And I checked it out. There's a problem with my microphone, and that being broken, plus having accidentally cracked my screen for the first time ever, a couple months ago. It was those two things put together made it not worth it for me to fix the phone. Mm-hmm. Instead of just buying a new one. So yeah, I went ahead and upgraded Samsung Galaxy S9.
What color did you get?
The midnight black one.
Ooh.
Yeah, I've already ordered the same. I had a D brand skin on my iPhone. Mm-hmm. I've ordered the comparable one for the new phone. And I don't know if I talked about this, but I bought this really nice mount for my car for my phone.
Yeah, you did.
And the problem with those things when you switch phones is that the part of the mount that is based on your phone that only fits your phone. So now I've got one for an iPhone 6s Plus, and I had to order a new one for the Galaxy S9 Plus.
Gotcha.
So that's in the mail, and the D brand skin's in the mail. But anyway, bringing this up because I've been playing some mobile games.
Oh, hell yeah.
Scott is trying to get me to play Puzzle and Dragons again.
Yeah, boy!
And by Scott trying to get me to play this, like, he was just like, yeah, you might want to play this. And I was like, but then that's where the conversation started and ended.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I downloaded Pokemon Go.
Oh, no.
No.
I've been hearing some rumblings that it's been updated and that it's interesting again.
Does it still eat batteries for breakfast?
So here's the thing, right? Like, I like the battery on this phone because the first day that I had it, I went into work and the internet connection to my desk wasn't working. Like the Ethernet or the Wi-Fi to my PC wasn't working, and I didn't have time to fix it. So I just turned on the Wi-Fi on my phone and left it there the whole day without putting it on the charger, and it didn't die. It's still 25% after an 8-hour straight day of work.
Nice.
So I'm down with the battery life.
Cool.
But I don't know. Like, I installed that like yesterday, and I don't know if I'm going to open it again. But I felt it was worth mentioning that there may be some Pokemon Go in my life.
Yeah. Hey man, if you're having a good time, I'm not here to judge.
That's it. I think it's all my games.
Cool. Scott, what about you? Scott?
Let's see. Not a whole lot of new games this week.
Okay. Nothing?
Yeah, actually kind of nothing.
All right. We'll get you one of these weeks. We got you last week with something new. So.
Yeah, you got me last week.
I'm looking at our time now. We are at break time. Nabashin, do you have a lot or do you have a little?
I don't know what we're talking about, really.
I mean, I want to pick your brain about Captain Spirit. So I know you played Captain Spirit.
Yeah.
What did you think of Captain Spirit Nabashin video games?
I thought the game was great. Because like it was all in a span of time where it's like, oh wait, I haven't played the farewell episode from Life is Strange, Before the Storm. So I just wanted to do that real fast before I played Captain Spirit. And I did that. That shit was like beautiful. For someone who like who really enjoys Life is Strange and like who these characters are. Just seeing that in that bonus episode was like totally worth it. It's super good. Just because of showing how good friendship is and like the emotions and like the ending is just like it gets there as far as emotion. So I really enjoyed that a lot. And so like after I did that, I did Captain Spirit, and Captain Spirit was good for what it is as well. Like probably my only hang up with Captain Spirit, like at all, and it's just like a dumb hang up for me really, is that I think the reason I really enjoyed Life is Strange is that I was going from a perspective of a woman, of a young girl, and like going as a young boy, it's like, oh yeah, I know this side, so it's like. The appeal isn't necessarily there as much as that was what really drove me into playing Life is Strange, because like I just like that perspective, because it's a perspective I don't really get that often as a young black male. So like having a female perspective was like really what drew me into that game. Why I really love that game for multiple reasons. But like Captain Spirit does like a lot of good things too as well. It's somewhat tropey though, because like I said, like it's a weird commentary I'm playing on this game, and it doesn't deserve it. But like it's like it's a perspective that I see too often in video games, where it's like the shitty dad and like the mom who died from a horrible thing, and like I don't know, like I feel like I'm shortchanging it, but like because it's really good for what it is, and it tells a good story for what it is, as far as like being a young boy dealing with a dad, and like him having his imagination kind of cater to like the life that he's living in, like the life he wants to live, and like uh all that stuff is really unique and cool, and I really enjoyed that a lot. Um, I just miss for what I had with the old version of Life is Strange, and like it's just totally just a me thing, and I'm sure I'm gonna enjoy Life is Strange too, just as much with Chris from Captain Spirit and whatever powers that he has. So like
my thing is I don't think you're necessarily going to play as Chris in Life is Strange Season 2.
Okay.
I don't necessarily know if you're going to play a similar character to Max. I know Max is probably not going to be in it, but I feel like the reason Captain Spirit is separate is because that is a character that will be present in Season 2, but isn't the character that you play. Or maybe that's just how I interpreted it. We'll see.
I mean, the way they ended it, and like they even like the last stinger thing that they said as far as like a message.
I know,
like,
but like I didn't interpret that as like he will be the character that you play as. I interpret it as like, oh, Captain Spirit will return in Life is Strange Season 2. Okay.
I mean, it just seems like if there's a quote unquote a theme for Life is Strange other than like Before the Storm, that is like strange powers get involved with the character you play as, and like you just have to adapt to your life as a strange powers and life itself. So I don't know. Maybe that's me just making too many assumptions. So like I don't know. I could be surprised.
Yeah, I don't know. It never came across that way to me. My thing, like, and I understand where you're coming from too. I think it's where like George Cruz, he bounced right off of it. I think that's where he kind of got hung up. I love Life is Strange because it like, and it's a reason I like a lot of the things that I like. It does like the whole tropey thing, but I think it delivers those tropes very well. Like I like Charlie, like Chris's dad. I like him a lot. I genuinely believe that he's not a bad person also. And I think the way they portray how kind of messed up that relationship is or has become is done really well, especially because it's like been 2 years and it's like right around when what happened. And you're kind of like on the anniversary of that. So that kind of exaggerates the feelings and frustrations that are present. I think there's a lot of really good subtlety with Chris too, because he's 8, so he's pretty young, and I definitely felt like maybe he doesn't completely understand everything that he's feeling, like the whole what Mandroid turns out to be, and like how that is like that's super ham-fisted tropey, but also I really liked it. I liked how that was what it was. So. I see where you're coming from. I'm also hoping that Life is Strange Season 2 stars a female protagonist as well, so we'll see.
Yeah, like but like I said, Captain Spirit is great though. I thought it was like the story was really great. I thought because like when I saw the preview for it, I was like, oh yeah, that looks cool. It looks like it's a way that they tell their stories that like I super enjoy. Like even with this Before the Storm thing, like the thing I liked about that the most, it feels like at least for me, when I played it, is like I don't think video games really do this all that often. Like from this perspective, and like this is the most mainstream like female protagonist type of video game that I've ever played. And like I mean, of course we have like Lara Croft and stuff like that, but I mean like like focusing like about a girl and like what girls go through and like her struggling with her friends and like and it's stuff like that. It's like that's what really appealed to me to like Life is Strange, and that's why that was kind of like what even drew me in the first place. Like and I know some people have problems with Life is Strange, and that's fine, but like for me who lives like a very male dominated life, like seeing it from this perspective has really like brought a lot for me, and that's why that game is like kind of special to me in a way.
And also like, and this is gonna sound super shitty, I think, and maybe I'm wrong in this, so forgive me if I'm over assuming here. Like Life is Strange Season 1 doesn't come across as like inherently sexist. Like, I know that, like, I don't know how many female writers were on that game, but it doesn't come across as like this out of touch thing of like, this is what girls are like. It feels genuine. Like it's not like, it doesn't feel like gender rolled. It doesn't seem like, well, Max likes these things because she's like, there's zero of that in that game. Like everything that Max likes in that game and all like that first episode where you're kind of like going through her room and figuring out the things she's into, none of it feels like, oh, she likes this because she's a girl. Like it doesn't feel forced like that. Like, and it's funny too.
Except for the teacher crush.
Well, like it's not that she has a crush on the teacher. It's that everyone else does. But and like that's a thing that they get into as it goes on too. And how that's a whole other conversation, honestly. But it's funny too because in Captain Spirit there's like reversing of that too. Like and I really it was like that moment where I really connected with the character of like when you're walking around Chris's room, you can look at like a stack of DVDs and it's like, man, today seems like a really good day to watch Frozen. And I'm like, fuck yeah, Chris. Today every day is a good day to watch Frozen. I fucking love that movie. And like he has a doll in his treehouse. And he's like, Dad says I shouldn't play with dolls because they're girly. And that's like it feels more forced on like the male protagonist end of things than it does on the female end of things. So I really appreciate that about that first season of Life is Strange. It's them earnestly and genuinely creating a character versus any part of it feeling forced. And that's not easy to do. Like even parts of the modern Tomb Raider games feel forced in that regard. So, but yeah, I'm glad that you enjoyed it. I'm glad that you played it also. Because it's kind of like before the storm with me of like that thing that I've just put off playing. At some point, I will hopefully play it, but that and like I've got Logan Wilkinson in my ear telling me it's bad. So.
And you and Logan have the same opinions about everything.
That's not true. Yeah, you're right. You've got a point there, Nabashin. Have you been playing anything else?
Nothing really worth talking about. Like I've been bouncing off a bunch of games. Just playing a bunch of stuff like Dragon Ball Fighters and Valkyria Chronicles and Kingdom Hearts and DMC and Sushi Striker and all these. I'm just jumping between everything. So. That's everything for me.
I've been doing the same thing, and you know what? We could talk about that after we take a quick break. How does that sound?
Sure.
We're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, we have some news. I've been playing some video games. I'd love to tell you about them, but I also would love to pee. And if we're all just being real with each other, yeah, Andrew gets it. He's got that.
I gotta get a drink too.
He's been flicking that lighter, just thinking about burning the whole house down. and he's ready to go. Can you give me some fire, Andrew?
It's stuck. I broke it.
That's what you get for fucking playing with your dumb.
This is my podcast candle. Like I can't light it. I blew it out.
Well, Andrew, we can figure that out over the break. When we come back, video games, my games, news. We'll be back in just a little bit.
Choo, choo.
Hey, everybody, welcome back.
You welcome back.
Thanks, man. Dude, I was looking at some new releases, so I was making the bet. Video games are good. We got some, we're in the summer months. We're in the summer heat, Andrew.
Oh yeah,
I know you're sweating over there.
I'm sweating right now.
I can see you glistening.
You like it when I glisten.
Dude, I fucking love it.
It's weird. It's the fat guy glisten, but it's actually just really hot here.
Here's the
I
thing.
can call it glazed.
Oh yeah.
I'm a glazed donut.
When I was really drunk at Barrett Courtney's apartment with Andrew Taylor, I told Andrew that staring at his just glistening glazed forehead that I wanted to rub my finger across it to feel that Colombian grease.
Yeah, it's just like
how uncomfortable did that make you feel?
It could be a violation, but I allowed it.
Nah, dude, you wanted it.
Yeah, I asked for it. Yeah,
Andrew, I played some video games.
Yeah, I want to talk about your video games.
I'm in a similar spot, man. Can't stick with anything.
Mm-hmm.
I've my main thing has been Tales of Vesperia. I've been replaying that.
Why?
Dude, I'm a fucking mess. What do you want from me? I was too hype. I couldn't control it. The thing was, this is my internal back and forth as I've been going through it again, because I'm like 40 hours into it now, so really there's no turning back. My internal thing is like, well, now I'm gonna really notice the differences. Like I wouldn't have before is the thing. Like, fucking what? But I've been skipping some things because it's like, I can savor this more later, blah blah blah, etc. etc. And that originally I was like, I'll just play to a point, and then like I got to that point, I was like, I don't want to stop. But it's the thing I've been able to play the most, but even still, like I lose my attention span for it after a couple hours. The most I think I played was yesterday, where I played for like 6 or so hours in a single day. But it's been like 2 or 3 hours here, which I hate, dude. It's like that's like the most adult part of my life right now, is that I can't fucking. And it's probably just because I'm in a little bit of a rut right now. It's like I just want to. My jam is sitting down and playing the same game for 8 hours straight. Like I live for that. That's my life, and I love it. And I just haven't been able to do that because it's like, work, full-time job, but like also Irrational Passions is like a very big responsibility now. Like I can't just ignore it. Like I got people that are depending on decisions that I'm making. So it's just frustrating. But that combined with me like just bouncing off everything. But I did put a lot of time in Tales of Vesperia this week. That game is so good. It's so like frustrating too, because I see all of the parts. I have this guide that I use for all the sub events, the side quests, because some of them are fucking obtuse as hell. And it has all of the ones that are for the PS3 version like in blue text, so like they're separated out. And I see all this shit that I'm going to be able to do, but can't right now. And it's like all these points in the story where it's like, oh, this person, one of the extra characters in this game, joins your party for like a temporary amount of time or whatever. And it's like, man, this makes so much more sense for the story. And I'm playing this shitty, not definitive edition. So that game's great. I'm just, I'm having a moment. To be fair, this is the last time I will play the game in its original form. So maybe, that's my excuse now, Shin. There you go. Savoring it. I have 14 different save files on my 360 for that game, going back to my original one, and most of them are over 70 hours long. So just think about that, Andrew. Think about the amount of time I've put into Tales of Vesperia.
You must really like that game.
I sold you on that game, right? I feel like I saw you on Twitter like, I'll play this.
No, that was Valkyria.
Okay, true.
And I still haven't played that, but I definitely plan on playing that.
Okay.
Especially when the new one comes to Switch.
Yes, you will like that game. Guarantee it.
Awesome.
I replayed through Captain Spirit to capture some video for it. I'm working on a thing for that. I don't want to say too much because it might not ever come out because it's hard for me to edit video right now just because I'm not very motivated to do so. But I'm working on a thing. I want it to come out, hopefully.
Yeah.
I bought Resident Evil 4 on PS4. All right, well, let's go back. Let's take it back. I started playing Resident Evil Remake on PS4. I don't know why. I think it was the Resident Evil 2 hype got to me. I was like, man,
Right.
I should play this game. So I started playing that game. I like that game. I wish there weren't enemies in that game.
Like just exploration.
I wish I could just walk around that house and fucking figure shit out.
Like a puzzle game.
Like a puzzle game. Like a
Yeah.
Metroidvania.
Yeah.
Honestly, I wish in that game it was like not about fighting. Like it was about strategically running away from monsters, which I typically just do anyway.
I could say something about.
Do you have like a suggestion, or is it like
For Resident Evil 4?
no Resident Evil, the original Resident Evil remake on PS4 is what I'm talking about now.
Oh, that's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh,
Not 4. Like so again. We'll get to 4, which I've also been playing, but going.
Okay.
I started playing. I restarted Resident Evil remake for PS4.
okay.
And I wish there was you just didn't fight in that game.
So
Oh.
here's a question, because that game was a lot of strategically running away from things.
Which I'm doing.
It's you're supposed to like having to confront these things. You're not supposed to particularly enjoy when you have to confront these things.
That's fair. I think I'm
So,
there.
yeah, they almost always appear at the wrong time, but that is crucial to the atmosphere of the game.
Mm-hmm. I guess it's just because it's not like scary at all for me. It's just like I want to hang out in this house. I want to hang out in this haunted mansion and just figure stuff out. Right?
It's less of that, but it's more or less why that game I don't think would be quite as good if it didn't have the tank controls in it.
Yeah.
They make you vulnerable,
Mm-hmm.
and that is said thing that exploits that invulnerability.
Yeah. Which I'm not. I'm
So-
playing with the modern controls as also, just to throw that out there. So not tank controls. But to be fair, like I'm also coming into it like knowing
Power off.
that this probably isn't quite my jam, or like knowing it's an older game, which I'm aware of that much. But I like that game. That game's cool.
Are you gonna finish it though?
I don't know. That sounds like a big commitment, Andrew.
Uh-huh.
I've never finished it. The thing, like,
You're playing as Jill, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
She just seems cooler, you know.
That's the truth.
That game looks very good. Still,
Mhm.
there's a moment where I like came through a doorway and I'm like, this fucking looks good. Like just like this shot. I also like. It's funny that I'm playing through that and Tales of Vesperia side to side, where like for me, Tales of Vesperia is my like Huber keep the fixed cameras game. Like the game, like the Tales games, Zillion afterwards, where they don't have fixed cameras anymore, and it's like behind the back third person. I'm like, man, this isn't the same. So like, I get that. I respect that for Resident Evil. But I don't know. I just like, I get really frustrated with Resident Evil, and it's anytime like one of those red enemies show up, like the zombies that are red and they move really quickly and attack you really quickly. I'm like, man, I just don't want to play this game. This is dumb.
You know how to deal with them, right?
I don't. I have a gun, man.
You have a lighter too.
Yeah, I like.
and you have gasoline. You put gasoline on the zombies, you burn them, and they don't come back anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing that. I assume like if you don't do that, they'll eventually turn red.
Yeah, that's the whole thing about them. That's the
Yeah.
new thing for the game.
Yeah, is that like in the remake? That wasn't in the original.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a lot of stuff like that makes that game really, really good.
Yeah. So like I have one of those. I've been taking care of my shit, you know, I've been burning bodies left and right. Except for this one dude, and he's in this hallway. I'm like, I'm just never gonna go this hallway again. Cuz he's annoying. But outside of that, I don't know, like I found a guy, and he got like bit by a snake, I guess.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, I gotta go to this room, and like I appreciate it, like marks on the map, like here's where the serum is. So I did this thing where I went to the room, and then I went back to him, and in that moment I realized that I went to the room and I tried to get the serum, and it told me that my inventory was full, and I didn't get it actually. So then I went back to the room.
But the room has like
It has a crate in it.
Yeah.
Here's what happened. I go to it. I try and get the serum. The serum says you're full. I put stuff in the crate, and then I left the room.
Okay.
I forgot to actually get the serum. I go back to him. He's like, it's real bad, Jill. I'm like, wait, fuck. And I go back to the room, get the serum, come back, he's dead. I'm like, I just turn off the game. That was the last thing I did in Resident Evil Remake. So maybe I'll play that game again. It's funny because I respect it. There are things about that game that are cool. I like that you have to use an item to save. I think that's really cool. I love the environment. There's like this whole thing in the back in the like fucking backyard or whatever where you go underground. And there's like these fucking stone faces or whatever, and I think that's new for the remake. Correct me if I'm wrong, Namashin.
I believe so.
Yeah,
yes.
put like gems and faces' eyes or whatever.
Well, there's a tiger one that's old, but like
Okay.
the dog things that are outside, that's new.
Okay.
The whole Lisa Trevor stuff is new.
Okay, I don't know who any of those guys are. Unless Trevor's the guy that got bit by a snake. He might be.
No.
Okay.
That's old.
So yeah, I still don't know what that game's all about. I know there's a spooky mansion and an umbrella's probably behind it. That's about it. That game's okay. Have you ever played Resident Evil, Andrew?
Not the original one, but I have it because it was a PS Plus game.
Yes.
Is that why you're playing it? Because it's PS Plus?
It was PS Plus, and again, the Resident Evil 2 hype kind of got to me.
Like, I want to talk about this with you once you get to Resident Evil 4.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, I'm really excited for Resident Evil 2.
Me too,
like,
man. I'm on board.
I don't know what the draw is, because I know that we had this Twitter conversation a few weeks ago where it was like, yeah, we don't really like horror movies, but like horror games are cool.
Yeah.
And for me, we'll talk about Resident Evil 4 and what you've been doing with that game, and then I'm gonna ask you some questions. But yeah, I'm pretty excited.
I can talk about that next. After I did that, I want to play Resident Evil 4.
Yeah.
I played. My brother had a sealed copy of Resident Evil 4 on the Wii.
Oh my!
And I know a lot of people say that's the definitive version to go back to. I fucking dusted off the good old Wii U, took it out of the cupboard, dusted. It's funny if you check the Irrational Passion Discord. George broke out his Wii U to play Captain Toad, and he took a picture of his gamepad, and it's the dustiest, most disgusting thing I've ever seen. It's funny. I didn't even take out the gamepad. I was like, no, fuck this terrible thing. I just connected a Wii remote and popped back onto Resident Evil 4. The fun fact is, so I originally played Resident Evil 4 on the Wii. That was the way I played it the first time I ever played it. And I did my data transfer from my launch Wii to my Wii U. And when I booted up Resident Evil 4 on Wii, I was like, nah, I'm actually good. Because it fucking looks terrible. Very anti-alias, like a lot of jaggies going. Well, very not anti-alias, very aliasing, whatever the word would be. But I had all of my save files from when I played it before. And what I did when I played that game was I saved at the end of every chapter, and then I would use the next save slot. So I had literally... I played the game through on normal, and I played through the game on professional, and I had all my save files. All 20 save slots were taken up. So I was like, okay, well... I played through the prologue, through the town part, got killed by the chainsaw guy. And I was like, well, I don't want to play this anymore. But let me load up one of these cleared saves and see what I had. And it's just like all the stuff that carries over for New Game Plus. And it was like my third playthrough because I had played through the game on normal, then on professional. I guess I really liked that game. And it was like 20 hours, done like everything. And I just fucking had like all these overpowered weapons, and I just went for it. And it was super. I just played through the prologue again, but just fucking murked everybody, and it was very good. So I was like, okay, this game's all right. So I bought it on PS4. I started actually playing through it there, which I know a lot of people say the Wii version is the best way to play a game. I acclimated to the PS4 version of that game a lot faster, even though it does have tank controls, and like you don't have the cursor and all that. I felt more comfortable there, weirdly enough. So I got through the first 2 chapters, or sub chapters, I guess. Like it's Act 1, Chapter 2. I got through, and that game's all right. I don't know if I'm gonna keep playing it because I was just thinking about all the frustrating parts about that game, which I don't know if that's what I'm looking for right now. I feel like I would better spend that time like playing Resident Evil, the first one, and kind of learning that game. But we made you play Resident Evil 4 for the first time on Extra Life, Andrew.
Yeah.
Did you ever finish that game?
So that was what I was going to talk about. So that was what, almost 2 years ago?
Yeah, that was Extra Life 2016.
Yeah, so we did a segment for people that don't know where I played Resident Evil 4 for the first time ever with Jarrett Green kind of emceeing, giving out really helpful tips and like cool facts about the game, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's on our YouTube channel. It's archived, so people can seek that out.
Yeah, it was really fun. And so after Extra Life had finished up, I think I was at your house for like a day or two extra after we were done doing that before I went back home to Minnesota. Mm-hmm. And I remember after everyone went to bed, and then I slept for like a couple hours because I had actually fallen asleep for like the last.
You got some good sleepies during Extra Life.
Yeah. So everyone was asleep, and I played some more Resident Evil 4 like on your brother's big TV in the living room for like 3 or 4 hours. And I haven't played the game since. And I feel like bad because like everyone says like Resident Evil 4 is like the best one or like the most popular one. And I don't know what I need to do to push myself to finish that game because I actually really want to play it. And I think I like the over the top melodramatic like character that Leon is, and like just like the crazy shit that's going on, and how they're not, I guess they're not zombies, or there's some sort of, and I don't know, they're crazy townspeople.
They're what the Los Plagas, I think is.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's like a cult or whatever, some bullshit.
Well, there's definitely some biochemical weapons involved. Don't worry, you'll get there.
Yeah, so because the other day I was sitting and I was like, I really want to go back to the Evil Within 2, or I could go play Resident Evil 4. And I sat there for like half an hour, like debating, what should I do? Play a better looking game, or like play a more like, more, what, I don't know what you want to call it.
Nuanced game?
Yeah, sure.
A tentpole in video game history game?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. So I struggled. And then I just kept reading my book instead. So it's like,
I mean, really the better call. Harry Potter's great.
Yeah. But I was like, I still really want to finish both of those games,
I'll say like Evil Within 2, in my humble opinion, probably a better game.
Yeah.
I I think at least by modern standards, I think Resident Evil 4 is like phenomenal. But like, man, there are just parts about it that are just as far as like playing it.
Yeah. And like, I don't know if I should start over because I still have that save, or if I should just start from the beginning again and just go from there. Because I love survival horror games. I think they're a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
I like the tension. I like feeling like I'm being chased by something, that kind of thing.
Let me tell you about Resident Evil 3 Nemesis.
I have never played that game, so are you just chased by?
You were chased by a thing the entire game, from what I understand.
Oh wow!
Is that
Mr. X?
Is that whole game, Namashin?
Yeah, you play as Jill, and like for the most part, Mr. X just chases you the entire time.
I thought it was Nemesis.
Or Nemesis, sorry, you're right.
Mr. X is Resident Evil 2, right?
Yes. I think they're the same thing. I actually never
They might
played
be the same
2
thing,
or 3.
yeah. Okay, I wasn't sure if you'd played 2 or 3.
Yeah.
I'm super excited for 2 remake because it's like
I'm really excited for that.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's a game that is taking like the best of everything. You know what I mean? Like it's using the Resident Evil, but then like setting it in Resident Evil 2. Like
I think like tonally, it's like primo Resident Evil, but like mechanically it is like modern Resident Evil. Not 6 necessarily, but like 7 or 4, closer to that. Obviously with like twin stick controls, but
so I don't know. I feel like I need something to push me to like play one of those games and like finally complete them. So
you should play 4.
You should play 5.
Yeah, 5 is a good entry, I think.
5 is a phenomenal game.
It is.
I played 5 when it came out because there used to be a place where I grew up that like you would pay to go there and play video games for like an hour or 2. It was like one of those places.
It's called an arcade.
Yeah. Well,
no, I'm just kidding.
Anyways, but that place closed down pretty quickly. But like I played.
Not a sustainable business, as it turns out.
Yeah, no, it's not. But I played like the first few hours of Resident Evil 5 there, and I was like, oh, this is really cool because like you were playing with someone, and it was like a co-op game. So I was like playing.
Dude, I will play 5 with you. 5 is a game that you can play with.
If you want to do it, like I'll buy the game.
Dude, let's do it. Jacob Bryan and I played a bunch of 5 together.
And did you guys play 6?
We did. There's video.
And like,
of that.
isn't like 6 like really bad?
6 is atrocious.
Okay,
I can't. Man, like 6 is like bad. It's so bad. Yeah. It's unbelievable. Especially because like you play 5 and 5's like great. Oh man, like this is a perfect balance. It's not like scary, but it's a great balance of like mechanically and environmentally. The cool things about Resident Evil co-op. 6 is terrible. It's like they lost all of it. They lost
because like
they lost the lead.
Weren't they trying to like make it super action oriented? Like,
well, like they were trying to. They had 3 campaigns, right? 4 technically, but one is supposed to be like a Gears of War style, like military shooter-ish, and then one is supposed to be like Resident Evil 4 style, and neither of them are either of that.
It's basically the Spider-Man 3 of video games. Like it tries to like please everybody and it pleases no one.
Yeah, it does all of the things wrong.
It's shot for the stars, but it completely.
Dude, I don't know. I don't even know if it's shot for the stars.
Leon's supposed to be like the traditional survival horror version of it. Chris is supposed to be the action section, and like Wesker's time is supposed to be something. I don't know what the hell that was supposed to be. But,
it's supposed to be like a new flavor, a new mix to Resident Evil with melee combat.
I see what you're saying. So like they were trying to cater to like.
Honestly, Wesker's bit is like Nemesis because he gets fucking chased by things all the fucking time, and I don't know why. It's like, why is another thing chasing me?
So I guess we got to play 5 now.
We should play 5. I have
tonight.
5. I have it downloaded to my PS4. Yeah, dude, hit me up.
Great.
It's like $20, dude. It's a great game.
Yeah,
it's a great game.
I'll go ahead and order it tonight.
It's just fun. It's just a fun game.
People can vibe a lot of shit, and like, granted, it's not a survival horror game like the older Resident Evil games, but like it's an action game and wasn't trying to be anything else other than that. Really, that's because around that time they didn't know what survival, if people even want survival horror anymore. Turns out people did, but like
I still remember
what that game is a big stupid game, but it's so much fun.
I still remember the E3 demo of Resident Evil 5, and I was like, this game is fucking awesome. And I played it, and it was that game, and it was fucking awesome. I played through it twice, back to back. I had so much fun. Played through it once.
That game.
Yeah, I played through it once by myself, and then once with a friend, local co-op. And like the fucking letterboxing it does in local co-op is terrible, but I love that game so much that it didn't matter.
Awesome.
I'll play Shiva. Sheva. I think it's her name.
So I get to be badass Chris?
You could be fucking buff, thick-necked Chris, man. Nothing is bigger than his neck in that game is fucking boulders, dude.
Like he doesn't even drink water. He just drinks muscle milk, and that's it.
That's all he knows how to drink.
It's funny.
Cool. I also played Hollow Knight. We talked about that briefly earlier. Hollow Knight's a great video game. It's $15. I don't know if y'all have heard. Apparently, that game sold 250,000 units on Switch in its first week.
That's awesome.
And it's now crossed 1 million units sold on Steam or on PC. So that's great. I played the
Question, Alex.
Yeah.
Why do you think people slept on that game for like an entire year?
I think like it really is like accessibility. Like people were hungry for it. Well, the thing is, like, it clearly sold really well on PC beforehand. So like people were playing it.
Was it because of that year? I just realized
it could have been. It could have been just like 2017 in general was fucking buck wild.
I think it was that really,
which is a bummer because like of the Samus Returns came out last year. Of the 2 Metroidvanias that I played last year, Hollow Knight is very much better in every shape, every way.
Wait, better than Samus Returns?
Yes, for sure.
Watch yourself.
I love that game, but like, I love that game more because it's a Metroid game than anything else. And Samus Returns is very cool. It is the 3DS Metroid game I always wanted, but Hollow Knight is like,
it's a culmination of like
perfection.
everything.
It's excellent.
It's like that cherry on top of the mountain of whipped cream.
I started writing a thing in my head. I don't know. I think I wrote it down somewhere, but in my head I was saying like the 5 best Metroidvania games, in my opinion, are Metroid Prime, Super Metroid, Ori and the Blind Forest, Hollow Knight, and Symphony of the Night. And it like very proudly sits amongst that number.
That's cool.
It brings something new to that genre in a weird way. Like it's not necessarily like a ton new, but it is enough new. It's all about the execution. But yeah, I think it's just that last year was jam packed, and also, when I heard about it, it was a thing. I think it was in early access briefly. I feel it might not have been that. I might be making that.
I don't think it was in early access.
But like they did free updates to it, and I knew like they said right off the bat like, hey, we want to put this on Switch, and console, and it was a thing of like I'll just wait for that. And like when it came to Switch, also it has the 3 free DLC packs that they put out for it built in, and they're doing more apparently. They're adding more stuff to that game, and like people were hungry for it. Like that game hit #1 on the Switch eShop day one. Like people were waiting for that game, and it is now blown up. It's super weird for me though, for Hollow Knight, because a lot of people are writing about it, which is great. I'm very happy about that.
I read Patrick's article though.
Patrick wrote a thing. I didn't read it, but like he was talking about like the Deep Nest. The Deep Nest was the last thing I did in that game. So I was like super strong and blew through the whole thing. And Jarrett's at that same spot where he's like 12-ish hours in and he's doing the Deep Nest, and I saved it for like the very, very end. And I was like, this isn't that bad. I blew through this. This is good. But most people are writing about like getting stuck in there because it's a very large area with a lot of super creepy enemies. But yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. Hollow Knight's great. Easy Allies even fucking made a video about it. Don't skip this game. And
when they made out, and then they kind of skipped it. And then they came back to give his proper praise. So like I felt good about that.
They talked about on the latest Frame Trap for folks listening, and they go pretty in depth in it, and on the last 2 Frame Traps, and I'm very glad that people finally played that game. Again, like 43 hours I put in that game. Regret 0 of that time. That was my vacation game, and I loved it.
It's pretty rad.
Yes. I also played the Captain Toad demo. It's the first 3 levels, I guess. I think. For the Switch. And it was enough for me to be like, okay, I don't need to play this game.
Yeah.
Which is fine. It's funny because like I was like, man, I wish I had played Captain Toad, but you know, I'm good. Which is there's nothing wrong with that. It's just like,
yeah.
I liked Captain Toad in the context of Mario 3D World. I don't know if I want a whole game of that.
There you go. Yeah.
But
Because I played that demo too, and I was like, I just don't think this is for me, man.
It's still great. It's objectively very well designed and jolly as hell.
It's a very good game.
Mm-hmm. 0 doubts in my mind about that. And I booted up fucking Call of Duty Black Ops 3. Roger Picorni, my sweet son, and I sat down, played some multiplayer. It's really funny. He just texted me out of the blue and said, "Hey, dude, Blops, you up? You Blops?" And we played some. And initially, we couldn't play together because he had to actually finish installing the campaign before he could play the multiplayer with me. You could play the multiplayer because that part had been installed, but you couldn't join a party. Doesn't make any sense. Because when you download that game, it's one of those games where it's like, would you like to prioritize downloading the campaign, zombies, or multiplayer? And he chose multiplayer. He finished downloading that. Let's play some multiplayer. And it wouldn't let him join a party with me and play games with me. So then an hour later, we got together and actually played together. And we played a bunch of multiplayer together. We caught up. It was nice. I love that guy. And then we played some zombies together. And I forgot Jeff Goldblum is one of the characters in the zombie game. The zombie map.
Shit.
And every single line he delivers as that character in that map is perfect, as you might imagine. And I don't know. That game's all right. It's fine. I don't think I'm going to buy Black Ops 4, you guys. That was my big takeaway of like, I think I'm good, actually. I think they're doing some exciting stuff, but man, it's just another reminder. I can play Black Ops 3 now. I have access to that. I own it technically. I'll boot up with Roger every now and again, but it's one of those things where it's like, man, maybe I actually am just totally done with Call of Duty, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
And it's totally fine. But I cannot see myself getting into that game in the same way I got into Modern Warfare 2 or the original Black Ops. I just like, it's not even like having a buddy to play with. Like that does not solve the issue that game has with me now. It's just that I am over it, you know? And you know, that's fine. Feelings change. I do want to play Battlefield 5 though. I don't know if I'm over Battlefield yet.
Yeah. But you do want to play Battlefield 5?
I do.
Interesting.
Here's my thing. Battlefield 5, the interest for me with that game is the first-person shooter I ever played, before Counter-Strike even, was Battlefield 1942. A phenomenal video game, in my humble opinion. I think I jumped in with the Road to Rome expansion specifically. Played on my brother's PC, loved it. The idea of a Battlefield game set in World War II, it like triggers something in me of like, man, I want this.
But Alex, what about your golden rule of no old shit in your first-person shooter?
That's just it. I'm like, fuck, man, fuck old shit. But like, it is scratching this weird nostalgia itch. The thing is, the reality that we live in, Nabashin, is that it's probably garbage new Battlefield that is not as good as 1942 was to me as a young.
Probably, yeah.
I mean, that's just like. Modern Battlefield is fine. I think it's lost a little bit what made like Battlefield 2 and 1942 special. But the modern take on World War II Battlefield is probably not as interesting to me as a 25-year-old man as like an 8-year-old kid playing 1942 for the first time. That's just the truth. But might be a lesson I have to learn the hard way, you know? Might be a $60 lesson I got to learn at some point in my life, you guys. We'll see.
You like Battlefield 4, right? Other than the whole fact it was broken thing.
It was fine. Yeah. It was a good launch game for PS4, Xbox One. You know?
That game had some major issues when it came out. Like, super, super bad.
I like, 64 players on console finally, and 60 frames per second. It was like, man, this is really good. And then everything was broken. And also, I didn't want to play that game.
Where are you at on Battlefield 5, Andrew? Because I know you like Battlefield 1 a lot.
It's weird because I'm a massive Battlefield fan. I started my first Battlefield ever was Bad Company 2, which is a really good Battlefield game, no doubt. Went on to Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4. I came onto Battlefield 4 late because of all the issues. And Battlefield 1 I thought was honestly pretty good. It's just strange for me that Battlefield 5 really isn't speaking to me, and I have never really felt that a Battlefield game hasn't done what I asked it to. It's I don't know, maybe it's just fatigue, possibly. I have a PC now, so it's like
You're an elite.
I would never call myself an elite PC, like master race or whatever you want to call those people, but I just I know that the PC, it's a better place to play shooters. Unfortunately, I don't think my PC is going to be able to run Battlefield 5. So if I really do want to commit to that,
who's the elite now, you fucking nerd?
If I really do want to commit to that game, it's either going to be on my PS4 or I'm going to have to spend money to beef up my PC, which is going to cost more than $60, So where I'm at with it, I'm kind of fatigued. If Alex plays it, someone who I really honestly wouldn't see playing a Battlefield game, I'll probably get Battlefield 5 on PS4.
Dude, where are we dropping?
Tilted Towers, bro.
Yeah, we're wrong game. Tilted Towers.
Yeah. But I kind of like what they're going for with Battlefield 5, where it's hey, we don't want to do the same thing that everyone else is doing with a regular World War II shooter. So we're kind of going to make it kind of like Bad Company. You know what I mean? In a sense of maybe being goofy or kind of just out of the box, whatever, just not the same thing.
Why do you think they don't go back to that anymore?
Why don't they go back to Bad Company?
Bad Company, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I really couldn't tell you. I haven't really deeply thought about that, but I think maybe they think it's just not the right atmosphere for that kind of game anymore. I don't know. I mean, everyone asks for it. Everyone wants.
That's the thing. It's so weird.
I mean, to be fair, that's the perception that everyone's asking for Bad Company 3, but I don't know if that's the reality to DICE that gets to see all the fucking fan letters that they get. I want to believe that Bad Company 3 hasn't happened because they would want to do it right, and it would take longer than 2 years to make that game right, and they're on this 2-year cycle with their games.
Yeah.
And they can't. EA will not let them ever stop. So maybe there is. I want to believe that there is a passion team within DICE off to the side working on Bad Company 3, and they will put it out the year that it's ready. Might be next year because I don't know if they're going to make another Battlefront game.
They are.
I mean, they have to, right?
Contract.
They got that contract. They got to make that money. It's going to sell. Battlefront 2 sold,
Did you guys ever hear me talk about Battlefront 2?
We talked about it. You and I have.
I think we talked about it, and I was so sure I wasn't gonna buy the game, and then I went and bought the fucking game, and then I played it for maybe 2 days, and I was like, why the fuck did I buy this game?
They got you, dude.
It had to be because it was there really is no other reason. But I was the people who are defending this game, I just know that it's just because you love Star Wars, and that's fine. I really don't think anyone enjoyed their time with that game because of all the issues that it had and the controversy.
Yeah.
But I honestly probably like my mission in life is to support EA as little as possible. Like, and I know that sounds shitty because I don't like, being a shitty person, but it's like EA is just a shitty company. Like there's no way to get around that.
It's like they put out a IGN posted an article.
Here's the thing.
Okay.
They're not doing anything this extreme, but would you go support someone who's beating kids? The answer is no.
I don't know if it's a 1-to-1 comparison.
It's not, and I understand that.
Okay.
The answer is no. And even when you scale it down, when a company is kind of just shitty to you, you generally don't support that company.
Yeah.
And EA has a history of doing that a lot.
Yeah, and it's not just like the consumer; it's like their studios too. Like, how many times does Nobishin have to bring up Mass Effect on this fucking podcast before somebody listens? Like, it's not just the whole Andromeda situation, the game that shall not be named. It's also like us talking about Mass Effect 3 of like the reality that game was like rushed out the gate,
Yeah.
Of like, man, what if Mass Effect 3 had like another year in the oven? What would that game look like? And we'll never know.
Like,
I know. I'm sorry,
like,
Nobishin.
oh
This is
my
open
God.
wound always.
Sorry, bud.
But it's like that, and Visceral getting shut down, and like they fucking IGN posted an article today that's like, EA says if Dead Space 4 happened, it would have been open world style with a female protagonist. I'm like, well, fucking come on, dude, give me something. Like, this is a great idea, and I especially in like 2015 or 2013 when that game would have happened, like it would have been probably really new and interesting at the time.
Yeah.
And it's like fucking, I don't know what to think, and like clearly, DICE is like not in a good spot, like, or at least that is my feeling right now. Like they're making a game every year, and I feel like. I don't want to necessarily say that they're getting worse every year. I don't think that's true.
I think they're getting gassed though. Like they're getting, like there's just so much happening where they're just not producing like they used to. You know what I mean?
They're not hitting the highs they used to.
No. It sucks, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm really excited for Anthem, but like that
I'm
seems
cautiously optimistic about that game.
Fair enough. But it's such a weird vacuum game. Why'd you buy Battlefront 2, man?
Man, when we talked, I think it might have been on a podcast.
You were so It was at Extra Life, I think.
Yeah, and I was like,
I think that was like 2 weeks before Battlefront 2, and you're like fucking against it.
I was like, no, dude, fuck that game, and like I'm not gonna buy that game, and like EA is ruining Star Wars, blah blah blah. And then like 3 or 4 days after the game came out, I went to Best Buy and bought it, and I was like,
you're like, I'm scum.
Like I need to be like the half that's wiped out by Thanos, like just straight up. Like.
Fucking white toast me, my guy. Please set me free. That's good.
Lesson learned, and I'm incredibly picky about the game I now for sure. Like you said, you don't even know if you're going to commit to Call of Duty Black Ops 4 this year.
I think I'm off, man. I think my feelings might change. I am very curious about their Battle Royale mode.
Me too.
Like, I genuinely think that could be good. But that's also like, I'm someone that really likes Search and Destroy, which is very much in the same flavor of that. I think Call of Duty can do that kind of game well. So who knows?
Yeah.
We'll have to wait and see. I don't want to say one way or the other. But playing Black Ops 3 is like very much, man, I don't know if I need to. I don't know if I can. I have it in me to commit to a game like this ever again.
Yeah.
When I play Overwatch, and like that game hits all the notes for me, Say what you will about that game, and I know like a lot of people have bounced off of it, let alone on this podcast, but in general, but I still get a lot out of that game.
I would definitely go back to that game for sure.
They took out the defender role, man. It's all different now.
What?
Yeah, they're all just spread out now.
Never mind.
Damage, tanks, and support. Never mind. Fuck that game.
Like,
yeah.
I like having like a role. You know what I mean?
But like, you know, they just kind of spread it. They've reimagined what the roles are.
Ugh.
It's damage, tank, and support are the 3 roles now. Andrew's out. Never mind. Fuck that game.
Yeah.
I think that's all I played, video games wise. Tales of Despair, Captain 2. Yeah, the zombies mode in Black Ops is fine. You know, I'm not gonna say one way or the other. It's just, I also played Metroid Prime 2. Why, you ask? I don't know, man. I don't know what it was. It might have been the Hall of Greats inspiration. Easy Allies does their quarterly Hall of Greats, and Metroid Prime got inducted into it. Spoilers.
How did you play
said,
that game?
fuck that game. Play the second one.
Well, it was a thing of like, the second one's my favorite, and that's like my Dark Souls 2 crucible that I have to bear. Like, it's very much, that's my Austin Walker take of like, here is the weird game in this franchise that's beloved that no one fucking likes.
Really?
And it's my favorite.
Oh my.
And I can't tell you why exactly. I think it is like the atmosphere of Metroid Prime 2 is so great. Because there are things about that game that I really like. I don't hate, but I don't like. Like, there's a whole, you have, you know, secondary weapons in that game, just like you would in Metroid Prime or any other Metroid game, like the wave beam and the ice beam and the plasma beam, right? In Metroid Prime 2, you get the light beam and the dark beam, and then eventually you get the annihilator beam. But you have to use ammo to use those other beams. Whereas like in the original Metroid Prime, you just got the plasma beam. You just got the ice beam. And in Metroid Prime 3, they bring back, like from the original Super Metroid era, beam stacking. Whereas like you get the new beam, and that is what your weapon is now, right? Which I think is cool. I really like that about Prime 3. Prime 2, it's like I can use the dark beam. It's kind of like the ice beam. It functions in a similar way, but different. But it uses its own ammo. It's like you can't use this very essential weapon if you run out of ammo. Like, you have to do a charge shot to do a single shot. It's very annoying. It's not a great system, I think, like, arguably, but I like it because it challenges you to play that game differently, and not depend on these alternate weapons, and makes you use missiles more, makes the game harder. Metroid Prime 2 is very difficult. I love the level design, the world design. And it's also another one of the mechanics in Prime 2 that everyone hates is like, there's the light world and the dark world. Super Zelda. In the dark world, when you're walking around, you take damage, because the atmosphere of the dark world is toxic to you. And you have to like shoot these crystals or these balls of light to create these safe zones, where you're protected from the atmosphere, but also you recover health slowly in these safe zones. I don't know why. I like that whole mechanic, and it's terrible objectively, I think. And those are the two big reasons, I think, why people hate Metroid Prime 2, but I don't know. It fucking works for me.
Around how many times did you play the multiplayer?
I think I can think of 4 discrete times ever in my life. And I never played it with 4 people. It was only ever with the maximum of 2 other people. And I was way better at it than the other 2 people, and they never wanted to play with me again.
Okay.
It was such an unnecessary thing. The thing was, like, not like it was a huge focus of that game. It was just like a totally optional mode. I feel like it was trying to harken back to that N64 era of like everything just so happens to also be multiplayer. Like Donkey Kong 64 has a 4-player battle royale mode or whatever, free for all.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, dude. You watch
100 monkeys jump up.
Dude, you can watch Brant Ranch and I play that.
Oh man, that's crazy.
Episode
stuff.
25 of that DK64 Let's Play that we did. It's fucking classic. But yeah, I don't know. Prime 2 is a great game. Prime 1, very much I think objectively a better game, and also definitely a more important game, but I just so happen to like Prime 2 more. I'm weird. Anyway,
Okay.
I booted up the trilogy and I was like, I want to play 2 because that's the one I like the most. And just like Prime 1 and Prime 3, intro that game super slow. It's not super interesting, but I did it. So,
You played Fortnite this week?
I didn't play Fortnite this week, although I'm thinking about it. I might.
Are you slowly becoming indoctrinated in that game?
I had a good time playing with other people in San Francisco. And like I said, I did my whole 10-hour, I'm going to try and figure out what the fuck this game is all about type thing. And still probably don't get it. But, I have an appreciation for it. I get it a little bit more now than I did before. And if I can play with other people consistently, I think I would have a good time with it. And the nice thing is I play on Xbox, and most of the people I know play on Switch, so I can play with them.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck PlayStation.
I don't know, man. Like,
Andrew, because we are on a video games podcast, and before we get into the news, I explain to our audience why you hate Fortnite. Because I told you when you were streaming Fortnite with your good buddy Steven, I came in that chat and was like, fuck this game, PUBG's better. This was like November of last year.
Yeah.
And now that's where you're at, from what I understand.
Yeah. Well, okay, so like I don't even play PUBG anymore either.
Neither do I, but
it doesn't make any sense to me like where the attraction game is. A lot of people say, like, it's the battle royale mode. It's like the intensity of like being the last like couple people alive, and I'm like, yeah, I've been there. I know that feeling. It's intense, but like for people to like spend money on like battle passes and emotes and skins and stuff like that, I'm like, is this game really that worth it? Like, is it really, it's crazy because like with PS4, this is before the Switch, but like with PS4 and like PC, like people are really good, like building shit fast. And that is just an aspect I can't get behind at all whatsoever. Like, I would watch, obviously, Ninja, who's probably the biggest Twitch streamer in the world, and watch him play Fortnite. And I'm like, what's the point? Like,
why?
There's no probably there, bro. He just is.
Yeah, it's like, what's the? I just don't understand. Like, you have to spend so much time to get to that point where you're as good as Ninja, and it's like that's hundreds of hours probably.
Meanwhile, he's making over $1 million a month just doing it.
Just doing it. It is amazing. It is, but I don't know. The appeal just isn't there for me. If I were to play with friends, say like you started playing Alex on the Switch, like, yeah, I might give it a shot again because like it's free. You're playing
harmless
with people that you know and whatnot. But I don't know, man. The appeal for is just not there. And like the other day I said, I give Fortnite a lot of shit, but I do commend it for all the stuff like it's able to accomplish because it is constantly giving its community like new content all the time.
Yeah.
Like, which is great. PUBG, nothing. Or they'll just say it's going to be a long time before you get this, and then like put it on their test servers and it's like, this isn't that great. But like the other day, I jokingly said like, I wish people cared about Siege the way they care about Fisher Price Fortnite. And someone,
it was a great tweet.
Yeah, and like someone that I don't even know was like, "Oh well, tell me when the deaths matter, like in Siege." And I was like, "The deaths matter
right now.
The deaths matter way more in Siege than they do in Fortnite. Like, yeah, you're fighting to get to be the last person." And like if you die, that's gonna suck. But you just get requeued right away, and you just go on to the next one. In Siege, if you die, you don't respawn. You have to wait for the complete end of the round before you get to the next round, and like that could fuck up your whole team, and like the whole round could be lost because of you died. So I was just like, I was like, whatever, man. Like, and he was like, tell me when Siege gets a BR mode. Yeah, because we totally need a BR mode for every game like out there. Like it was a weird conversation. I didn't really argue with this person. I don't even know who it was, but
he sounds like a lame-o.
Yeah. It is what it is, but like I appreciate the fan base. I appreciate that people are behind the game, and I like that people are so engrossed in it because it's cool to see a lot of people that I know so excited about one particular game. Like that's fun. Like I enjoy seeing that. I just wish it was Siege. That's all.
Yeah, I get you. I wish it was Tales of Vesperia, man.
Hey, maybe someday I'll get there and I'll be on your level.
Dude, it's so fucking good. Fuck, man. Every time I get in the Slack, I just send another message of like, guys, remember when Tales of Vesperia is coming? Finally fucking coming. They're finally living my dreams are coming true. Do you guys remember that? And Scott White is there with me. He's like, fuck yeah, dude. I'm here for this shit. And everyone else is like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Can we vote to kick this guy? Like,
yeah. Like I know.
Then they realize they can't survive.
Yeah, exactly. I pay the fucking hosting bills, all right? Come to me, my website. Anyway, I'll play Fortnite with you.
Cool. I'm down.
I'll have a good time.
If there's crossplay, I'm in.
Hell yeah, dude, there is.
There is crossplay.
You're on PC, right, Tony?
Yeah, I think didn't like the new season pass come out today or something?
Yesterday.
Yesterday.
Yeah. I mean, like I did enough of the previous season pass to get the next one for free. So.
Oh hey, there you go.
I'm thinking I might give Fortnite a season shot of like now that I'm coming in right at the beginning.
You're gonna like come in hot for a whole season, try and reach rank 100.
Hell no. I'll get the
not
battle
like,
pass.
Not like player versus player rank, like finish your battle pass.
Yeah. I might get the battle pass. I might
it's like
just try.
$10.
It's $10, right?
Yeah,
and that's how they get you. You know, if literally a quarter.
Well, here's the thing, like, yeah, you pay $10, and then as long as you get to like rank 25 or whatever, you get enough free money back out of it to buy the next one.
Yeah, but like if a quarter of the player base of Fortnite bought the battle pass in a season, right? Epic is set forever. Like the end. So, you guys want to talk about some news? Not a lot, but we got some.
Do we have any?
I pulled a couple of stories, some small stuff, and I also had a thing I wanted to bring up. Here's where I'm going to play the news and gaming thing that you guys aren't going to hear, but our listeners will. News in gaming. So
I can hear it in my head.
I can hear it inside me. Two stories I pulled for this week. Again, not a lot. We're in the news drought. I guess, we got San Diego Comic-Con coming up soon. Probably not a lot of gaming news there. Kingdom Hearts gonna be there, so we're fucking talking about it. And
is that where they're gonna show Big Hero 6?
That would be the most appropriate place, right?
Probably.
I almost don't want to see it before the game comes out. But
Same here. I'm a blackout, dude. And I keep forgetting that I am, so...
Scott doesn't have to worry about it, man. We just keep telling him, hey, Scott, that game fucking looks good. There was a trailer. That third trailer.
Is it a fighting game?
Kingdom Hearts 3?
Yeah. Or not Jesus. The My Hero game.
My Hero Academia? Oh, we were talking Big Hero 6. Different thing.
Oh, I'm an idiot.
My Hero Academia, what's it? My Hero One for All, I think is what it's called. Something like that.
Yeah.
That is it.
Yeah, dude, I'm an All Might main.
Yeah, right. How much of that we're gonna have to fucking deal with?
So wait, Big Hero 6 is making a game?
No, Big Hero 6 has a world in Kingdom Hearts 3. Let me get you out.
Oh.
That it's the only announced world for Kingdom Hearts 3 that we have not seen literally anything of.
And Nabashin, you're on media blackout for that?
I keep saying that, but
But you're not, dude. Fucking you and me are gonna be crying over trailers through January. Anyway, we got Gamescom's coming up next month too. We got some stuff happening. GameStop Expo's next month too as well. So,
what do you think we'll see at those? Just like something that wasn't shown at E3. What do you think could possibly?
Here's two games. One of them is one of our news stories. Darksiders 3 has a release date. November 27th, 2018. This is really, I mean, it's very self-indulgent for me to pull this. I'm fucking, there's a IGN first 15-minute gameplay demo of Darksiders 3 out there. I think the game graphically looks great. I don't know how I feel about how it looks playing-wise, but it's weird. I'm here for it. Like, I think Darksiders is still very much kind of a B-tier game, you know? And I don't mean that in a derogatory way. I think it still fills the same kind of role that franchise filled when it was with THQ OG original. It's, you know, it's not gonna be God of War or anything like that. And I'm okay with that. I think it looks good. I think it still looks cool. It's coming out November 27th, so it's coming out this year. They announced it late last year, and they said, hey, it's coming out late next year. They announced 2 different special editions for the game. A $150 collector's edition, and then a $400 quote-unquote Apocalypse edition. And here's the thing about the Apocalypse edition, right? So are you familiar with Darksiders, Andrew?
To some extent, yes.
Okay, but you know it's about the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse.
Yeah.
The fucking Apocalypse edition comes with 4 statues, right? You're like,
Jesus.
oh, the 4 horsemen. No. It comes with a statue of War, the protagonist of the first game, Death, the protagonist of the second game, Fury, the protagonist of the third game, and then Volgrim, the fucking shopkeeper from all 3. And it's like, what the fuck, guys? And I get it. Like, Strife, the 4th horseman, he hasn't had his game yet. He hasn't been quote unquote revealed yet. But like, they've done comics about Darksiders in that universe where you see all 4 of them. You see what fucking Strife looks like. Like, I know what he looks like. You can fucking make a goddamn statue of him, you pieces of garbage. But it's also that. It's like, Darksiders 3, a game that probably won't do that well in the grand scheme of things, has a $400 edition. It's just like, man, who's going to buy this? Like, I'm not even going to buy this.
Like, I know the shopkeeper kind of looks like a demon, but like, I just, in my head, I picture like these 3 horsemen, like just super dark, and then like this guy just wearing a massive backpack, and that's like it.
Just like a big jolly ass dude with a smile on his face with a backpack, like, hey guys!
Santa look, yeah, like a Santa looking guy. Oh man, it'd be great.
Nah, yeah, he looks like a demon dude, you know. But yeah, I'm excited about Darksiders 3. I think it's gonna be a cool game. I believe they're gonna talk a lot about it at Gamescom. And Biomutant is another THQ Nordic game coming out supposedly this year that they said they're going to give kind of a lot more information about at Gamescom, presumably a release date. And I'm excited about both those games. I don't know if I can be excited about those games in the year of our Lord 2018 because there's a lot of shit going on this year.
There's a lot
specifically in the last 4 months of this year. So in regards to that, possibly because of that, Code Vein got delayed until 2019, till next year or sometime. They didn't really say, they said they wanted to do it right. That's my paraphrasing. That was originally coming out at the end of September, like 3 days after Valkyria Chronicles 4, or the same day as Valkyria Chronicles 4. One of the two. And I am very thankful. The quote they put out from Eric Hartness, who's vice president of marketing at Bandai Namco, said they wanted to further refine its gameplay in an effort to exceed the expectations fans already have of the title. So very PR line, but I think it's probably for the best. That game, let it cook, in the great words of Michael Huber. But yeah, those are 2 games, Biomutant and Darksiders 3, that I think we have potential to hear about more this year.
Cool.
I did have a discussion idea because I wanted to bring something up to you guys. I had a conversation while I was in San Francisco I didn't bring this up last week because we were all very sleepy. To be fair, I wrote this in here in the concern that if we went short like we did last week, that we could talk about it. That's obviously not an issue. So we don't necessarily need to spend a lot of time with it. I did want to just bounce it off you guys, though. Barrett, I stay with Barrett Courtney. Also, one of his roommates is Sean Pitts. Two folks that work at IGN. They told me that they believe, objectively, currently, by modern standards, God of War is the best video game ever made. And I was dumbfounded. And I just wanted to, I want to posit that idea to you four. And I want to know what your raw, visceral reaction is to that. I'm not trying to shit on them. Obviously, that game is very highly praised by that group of people. And both of them specifically really loved it. It didn't do that much for me. I think it is a great game. I don't think it's even amazing by any standards. I think it has a lot of issues, personally. But I was curious. I don't actually know what you think of God of War 2018, Andrew.
Yeah.
Did you play it?
Do you want me to go first, or?
Yeah, dude. Hit me with it.
So I beat the game. I have not done all the side quests or anything like that. It was one of those games where I was hyped for it. I was pretty excited. I like the fact that they're taking Kratos out of his comfort zone of, Greek mythology and throwing him into this new Norse mythology location, whatever you call it. And I like the idea of it being, the camera switching from having it being out further back to see everything that's going on and just massive chaos, to having it be behind the shoulder, and then having him with a son and having that extra character to be there to give support and whatnot and do all those cool extra things to get you ammo or whatever and fight the enemies or hold them down. So I was pretty hyped on that game. I beat the game. I'm kind of on the fence of it being great and it being just good. You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean.
I think in terms of a story, I think it was I don't want to say it was a really great story, because I feel like there was some things that could have been added to it that gave it a little bit more emotional effect for me. Mm-hmm. But overall, it was a pretty simplistic story. Just that journey of he and his son, doing the mother's
shit,
Yeah, the last wishes, that kind of. But overall, as a game itself, gameplay wise, I think the game was really good. I think the gameplay was fun. I liked that it was like Dark Souls in a way, where you do have to take advantage of blocking things or parrying or dodging, stuff like that. Because if you don't do that, you're gonna die. So I really appreciated that, because I'm personally have never been able to get into Dark Souls, Demon Souls, Bloodborne. I just can't do it. That's just not for me. But I appreciate the love that people have for those games. So this was kind of my way of playing that game, that type of game, in a more simplistic way. So,
would you describe God of War as the best video game ever made?
Yeah, I was just about to get to that. So I can't do that. I can't do that. But knowing Barrett, knowing Sean, I see where they're coming from. Mm-hmm. So I understand their opinion and their view of where they stand. But I myself could not be that right there is the best game I've ever played, or the best video game that exists, because that experience is, I feel like it was a refined experience, but I feel like there's just more that will be added to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
another improvement will be made eventually. So
I want to keep in mind of like in the modern setting of like where we're at with console video games, because once you get into PC stuff, like you get all over the map. Their stance was like this is like the most polished, well constructed modern video game of all time.
Sure.
Currently, and that will change obviously, but like this is the standard right now. That was just to clear up any
just
wording issues, which I just personally I don't agree with.
I don't agree with that either.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What would you? And I'm going to pose this to Scott and Tony as well because they're the folks here that haven't played it. What would you say right now is the tentpole video game that is the best video game ever made? I know it's a difficult question to answer, and I'm okay with you like giving me a more personal answer. Do you want to think about it?
Yeah, just like something that really. I feel like. Yeah, let me think about it a little bit.
Sure.
Like I was gonna say Breath, but that game has issues too.
Sure.
So,
what about you now?
It's like just all right.
Yeah.
All right. I know how you feel about that game, Tony.
You want my opinion?
Yeah, give me your take.
It's all about like where people are coming from and what games they experience and what games they really like.
Mm-hmm.
For Sean and Barrett, I totally see that for them. And it's like I said, it's just going from their perspective and what they see and what they want out of video games. And as far as like God of War, like I told you, like with God of War and even with Horizon, for me personally, like they are like a blueprint of like what a successful modern AAA high budget video game is. Like, or I thought Horizon Zero Dawn was a little bit more egregious with it, and that's why I kind of like bounce off of that personally.
Yeah.
And I still feel bad about it because I still think that game is great.
I think that's how I feel about God of War. I think it's more cookie cutter than Horizon is.
Mm-hmm. But it connects with people though for one reason or another, where it's like the father thing or where it's like the lore building in that game or like or even just how the way it looks. Like that's big for people too. So like I can see their perspective of that, and I can never respect that for where they're coming from. If I were to say like 3 games, for me personally, that like I feel like would be like the best modern games for this generation so far. It would be Bloodborne, for the lore and the way that game just like controls and feels for most people. Like I still haven't beaten the game, but like there's so much appreciation I have for it, and like what I can see from it, I think that game is like phenomenal head to bottom. I can see that for The Witcher 3, and that's goes without saying. Like I talk about the game constantly, and the third one is a more personal note. I say Persona 5, but yeah, that's just me.
Yeah. Tony and Scott, I know like this saying, "Hey, this is the best video game ever made," means nothing to you. Because neither of you.
I mean, it means nothing to me because he was saying God of War and not Persona 5.
Yeah, but like I want to know genuinely what is like, and we can go back and forth because I feel like you guys get a different breadth of video games than the rest of us as predominantly console players, and you guys are predominantly PC players.
Especially them.
Yeah. I want to know like what in your head is like the touchstone for video games right now. Tony, you can go first.
I mean, I've already said Persona 5, and I do believe that. And I think, Navashin thinks a lot the same as me. I think Bloodborne is also really high up there.
Me too. That's actually one I was going to bring up too.
Yeah, those would be the 2 really big standouts, I think, for me. I think like I don't know. I don't know if I necessarily have, number 1 on my top games of all time list has always been Warcraft 3 for different reasons than it's the best game ever made.
Yeah.
But I think that holds true for a lot of like the PC games that I've been, that I'm known to play and that I've been playing recently. But I think that, like those single player console focused games are the ones that really like shine in my mind.
Yeah. And that's why I wanted to ask, like, because again, I'm not trying to bring this up as like me dismissing Barrett and Sean's stance. Like I understand where they're coming from.
I think it's greatest game of all time is a very personal thing.
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
Yeah, it's really hard to answer.
But that's
I
why
think it's very difficult to industry, to apply that to the industry and be like, objectively, this is the best game of all time.
Yeah.
I think that works that way.
Yeah, and I agree. But that's why. But it's the phrasing of like this in like the modern era is like a tentpole. Because we talked about it earlier. I think when Resident Evil 4 came out, that was what that game was, right? When that game came out, I think 2004, right? Nabashen, that sounds right.
Yes.
And that was for GameCube. Like that was a touchstone video game because no game had done what that game did. And it's funny to think like Resident Evil 4 and Halo 2 came out in the same year. And both of those games were doing like really important shit in totally different regards. But I think both of those could be like the
2005.
2005.
It was the beginning of 2005. It was January, so
they came out very close to one another.
Yes.
And I think at the time those two were like standards in the industry, just like I think BioShock was a little bit of that too when that came out. But that changes as time goes on, and when I played God of War, right, it didn't leave that kind of effect on me. Scott, I'm curious what you, above all, I think, what in your head right now is like a touchstone game. And I know it might not be something that you've played as much as the rest of us, or, I'm just curious what your perspective is.
Specifically, not the greatest game of all time.
Mm-hmm.
The last game that I would play that was like that would have been Undertale.
Okay.
And that's because it did something very specific, something that kind of needed to be brought back the games.
Yeah, and I'm totally with you on that too. I think especially if you look at, so we're 3 years out from Undertale now. Like that game has had a huge influence on indie games. Like a lot of games I think are trying to do what that game did, and I don't know if any one game has done it as well as that game did, as well.
Agreed.
And that's a game that like it's one of those very few things that like really affected all of us and in different ways too. It's like of all of our game of the years, like it's the one I'm like the most gung ho about because like we all fucking love that game. It's really Alex Van Aken recently played that game and it was very cool to hear him talk about it on the OK Beast podcast. If any of our listeners check that out. Andrew, you got one for me?
It's still really hard.
But given the examples you've heard, and again, like the framing that it's not. I'm not asking you to tell me both either your favorite game of all time or the current most important game of all time. I just want to know what you think is a tentpole right now for modern video games.
I think. Go ahead.
What was the last game that you said, "Wow, this really, really stands out," and that hasn't happened for a good chunk of time?
Probably The Last of Us.
Okay. It's 5 years since that game came out.
I know that's 5 years. Yeah. Because before that, I had never played anything like that ever.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I remember finishing that game and just being like, what? You know what I mean? Like, and like having those personal feelings of like kind of wanting to cry because you were so emotionally attached to those characters and like you cared about Ellie, you cared about her well-being, but like you knew where Joel was coming from. Like I had never experienced that before ever in a video game. Mm-hmm. And like that was incredibly powerful. And like I don't think I'll ever have I don't want to say I don't think I'll ever have that feeling again because video games do really awesome things all the time. They're always doing something different. And I just feel like Last of Us just brought me something that I had never felt before. And maybe now I know what it feels like to have that feeling to the point where I'm just waiting for that next experience to get me there where I'm like, holy shit. Mm-hmm. Like I played some of Undertale. I was playing that on my Vita. And I was like, man, this is so fucking great. And unfortunately, like for some reason, my Vita memory card like wiped itself.
Nice.
And I like lost my save with Undertale. So
Well,
like,
okay, so here's the thing.
You gotta go back.
yeah,
It's pretty cheap. If you liked it, you'll like it again.
that's true.
Probably you'll like it about 3 times because it is a very short game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If it is not the type of game where you lose your save file and say that was too much work to do again.
oh no, not at all.
Yeah.
It's just
the type of game. I lost my entire save file.
I can play it and go to finish tomorrow.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, that's true.
Which is what Barry Courtney did. You beat the game and then you're like, I guess I can play it again and beat it in a day.
Yeah.
It's one of those games that, in my opinion, the more you vary your playthrough, the more you appreciate the game.
Mhm.
That's good.
And it's coming to Switch this year.
See, like that's another thing I was going to talk about. That's my thought process now for pretty much every game. Is
Every
like,
video
oh,
game.
when's it coming to the Switch? Like,
Oh no!
It's just 'cause I appreciate
I
that.
didn't know that. Yeah, wait for the Switch version.
yeah,
The Japanese release date for the Undertale was announced this week. It's September 26th.
so probably not too far after.
So
that.
probably, yeah, either before or after that, pretty close.
And like the thing is, I have the crossplay too, so it's like I could easily just re-download it on my PS4 instead of playing it on my Vita. But I just felt like that game spoke to me more as a handheld game versus a console one.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean,
So is the last? Would you say The Last of Us is your pick for that?
yeah, I would say that's my pick because it just did something for me that no other game ever did for me before. So yeah,
So
you know,
So I'm glad that you brought that game up too, because to give a little bit more breadth to this conversation that I had, it was a really good conversation. I don't want to I feel like I came at it of like, they're so dumb for thinking this. Is not what I meant.
oh no, I never thought that. No.
It was more of like, I was like, I had such a different experience with God of War. Like I was dumbfounded by that opinion personally.
Sure.
Because it did not hit near the highs for me that The Last of Us did, for example. The framing of this conversation was that both of them believe that The Last of Us was that tentpole game, and God of War has now taken its place, right? It has usurped that. It is a better game, which is like completely not how I feel about it. But it's funny because God of War is one of many games that has taken so much influence from The Last of Us.
Yeah.
And not like less than I think it gets flack for. Like I don't think it is as much a 1-to-1 God of War is The Last of Us, but with boy game. Like I know that is kind of like a running joke, but
yeah.
I think it is definitely influenced by the storytelling in that game.
Yeah.
For me, I'm glad you guys brought up Persona 5 because I was going to bring it up, but I felt bad about it because I feel like that is so like narrow casting. Like that's so our jam, right? But it is also a lot of people's jam now, and Persona 5 made that kind of game so accessible.
Persona 6, though, hello?
The hype is real. Let's wait 9 years. Strap in, everyone.
I feel like it won't be 9 years.
It probably won't be 9 years, but it'll still be a little bit of time. Don't hurt me like this, Scott. And I brought it up before, like,
hey, listen. The wait is worth it.
The wait is worth it. You're right. I brought this up before on the show of like my anticipation for Persona 5 was with the expectation that Persona 6 would never happen. And I don't know why I ever thought that because, of course, Persona 5 did very well and did the best that series has ever done. And Persona 6 can only do better, honestly. But that was just always my stance with it. For me, like, you know, going off of your criteria, Scott, of like a game that really made me stop and think was obviously Breath of the Wild. I talked about that last year. And you know, that had a really, really important impact on me as far as like, I played that game differently than I played any other game, open world game, right? And it's a different open world game, and I understand it didn't work for everybody, and it's just okay to some people. And I think there is a pretty big gap between feelings on that game.
There's a huge gap.
So like, but like every single part of that game worked for me. And it was a very much like stop and smell the roses kind of like, whoa. But also obviously Last of Us, obviously Persona 5, Bloodborne was the other one I was going to bring up. So So let's, you guys already touched on it. Of like, I don't think I've ever played since an action game like Bloodborne that is as good as feels as good as that game feels. And I played that game like 6 times, and Tony knows he did the same thing.
Hell yeah, dude!
It's just so good.
It really is.
That's why, like, when I saw Sekiro, I got chills down my spine because it is
I'm
like
so hyped.
It's the first game that I saw. I'm like, this is like what they wanted to do, but more. And I'm fuck, man, Jesus Christ. But yeah, those would be like my 10 poles. And it's funny, like the more games that come out, like even The Last of Us Part 2, the less like of an impact those like Sony first party games have. Like Horizon came out, and I'm like, this is really good, but like you said, Navajin has some of those aspects that I've seen before. And then God of War came back, and it was like, especially after I played Uncharted 4, like God of War just feels so like chasing that dragon. It does not feel original in how it does a lot of what it does.
But you don't feel like it enhanced what it was?
No, I feel like it didn't do that as well as Uncharted 4, and especially like Lost Legacy did it. Like Lost Legacy, say what you will about it, like I never finished it, but like the stuff where you're like driving around with Nadine, thank you. God, names help me. Like those like bits of dialogue are so compelling to me in a way that doesn't feel forced. Whereas like possibly because how well that's done, every time you sit in the boat and like you're hearing stories from what's his face, head guy.
Kratos? Oh, okay. Never mind. Sorry.
Not Kratos. Although Kratos' stories are fun. But you're sitting in that boat in God of War, and you're hearing from the decapitated head, like his stories of like building the world. It's like, I love this world. The way that this game is telling me its story feels just like another thing that I think did it better. That is all I could feel while I was doing it. So if like you read my review and I say like parts of that game feel cookie cutter, that is what I'm talking about without spoiling it in the review. So it's weird to me. Like, but it's cool. Like I'm glad because all of you guys had a really great perspective. That's why I wanted to bring this up. And obviously Witcher 3. That's a big one.
Never played it.
Weird one for me though. Because like, for me, I segment things in the genre, like Persona 5 on the JRPG genre, Witcher 3 on the Western RPG genre, Bloodborne in the action genre, Detroit for storytelling, honestly. Like, I think that is
Detroit is pretty fucking good, dude. I didn't even say I beat that game, but yeah, that game's real good.
That game's like the end of that game is fucking buck wild, right?
Yeah, it's real good.
It's like super. Oh man, it's a weird.
Like as far as like decision-based narrative games, like what Telltale's trying to do, what Until Dawn was trying to do, like Detroit is like the standard for that now.
Yeah,
I think personally. I know some people hate it. Whatever. I know it's got issues, guys. Like, don't get me wrong. I get it. And then like on the multiplayer front, like for me, it's Destiny, and it's such a weird thing. And I know like that game has its own issues too, but like Destiny 2's raid is fucking like really incredible in my opinion still. And like the way that game changed how I viewed multiplayer, like cooperative multiplayer, still like Destiny 1 and Destiny 2, those raids, like those are some of the best multiplayer experiences I've ever had. And I think the standard before that for me was like Left 4 Dead, But yeah. Thanks for humoring me on this, guys. If folks out there listening have like a tentpole industry standard game that they think of as like the bar right now, and it's not one we mentioned, please let us know. Tweet at IrrationalPod. Let us know. I would love to hear it. We can talk about them next week. But you know what else you can tweet at IrrationalPod? Your fucking questions. You can tweet them at IrrationalPod with hashtag IPQ, and we will read them on the show. And much like last week, we didn't get a lot. Which is to say, we got one question this week from our good friend Nicole at NMH2105. Let me pull up her question. I want to get the music rolling. Again, the music that you guys can't hear, but our listeners can hear. Apologies for the dead air. Nicole tweets this. She says, sadly, the World Cup is ending this weekend. Remember sports, you guys? That the rest of the world cares about so much more? I know Alex must be devastated. Absolutely not. I talked so much shit about soccer.
You guys know how much World Cup I watched?
How much, Tony?
0.
Hell yeah. My guy.
I didn't watch a single one. And people at my
either.
work were like, you watching the World Cup? And I was like, I don't watch sports ball. Good shit.
She asks, who will become the 2018 champions, France or Croatia?
Croatia.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta side with my boys here. Tony, Brent Range. Gotta get with Croatia.
It'll be France.
Will it be France? Have you been watching this sports?
No, I watch it when I'm at the gym because I'm not going to spend any other time watching it anywhere else. So.
Okay, so you're watching it all the time then because you're always trying to get swole.
Yeah, bro. Constantly
My
swollen.
dude. Nah, man, like, gotta side with my boys. Who's gonna win? Nabishin?
Where is Croatia?
It's in Europe, I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
I don't know why I laughed so hard, but I think it was just because I assumed that we all know where it is, but then
Absolutely, I
I
have
realized
no
I actually
idea.
don't know where it is.
Oh, wow, okay,
Yeah,
I'm looking at where
I'm
it
gonna
is.
post a picture of it in the Discord chat.
It is off the eastern coast of Italy.
Okay.
And there's a small
here's
country.
Here's a visual aid for you, Namish.
There's a small country between
Thank
them
you.
called Slovenia that I didn't know was a country. I'm not gonna lie to y'all.
It's right across the Adriatic Sea.
Okay, so it's right below. Okay,
Austria.
Slovenia, never heard of it, but
Yeah, Slovenia. What's
Austria,
up with Slovenia?
They probably have to fight vampires.
Do you think
there or some
Slovenia and
bullshit.
Slovakia ever like get into fights?
Absolutely.
Brant Range, who's been on the show many times, was born in Croatia and moved to the United States as a young lad with his mom.
I'm gonna go with France because they beat England, and apparently that was a big upset.
Yeah, I guess like what I heard. This is again a conversation I overheard at work, so it's like literally water cooler. Like, I fucking don't care about sports. That Croatia is good at the marathon and France is good at the sprint, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is what I heard. So, I believe in Croatia. The thing is, Brant Range, I know he fucking cares. And he is not texting me at all about it. Which means he's a good friend. He knows I don't give a shit. Scott, who's going to win, man? That's a tough question.
Okay, so it's gonna be sports ball team from country represent.
Got it. Strong answer. I think that's a good pick, Scott. I feel like you really considered that.
You took it into consideration.
Hell yeah. Man. Brant told me he's going to take me to Croatia one day. I'll tell you all how it is. But I'm not going to go there if they lose, because I don't fucking hang out with losers.
What if that happens and like that's the first thing you say to them?
No, Brant texted me yesterday. He's like, hey, when am I going to come down to Maryland again? And if they lose, I'm going to text them and say never, because I don't hang out with losers. Man. Is it me? Is it just me? Or has it felt like this World Cup has gone on forever?
It's been an eternity.
I
I
feel
didn't
like
know when it started, so
I feel like it
can't say.
started at the beginning of June, and we're like halfway through July, and I'm like, when does football end? Please set me free. That's it. That's the only question we got. Thank you, Nicole, for your question. I appreciate you. We've reached the end of the show. We got some stuff we got to settle. But before then, a couple of things. If you'd like to be a part of the show, you can tweet your questions at IrrationalPod. Use the hashtag IPQ. We'll read them on the show. If you like the show, and if you like Irrational Passions in general, you can follow us on Twitter at IrrationalPod. Just take a moment. big shout out, George Cruz, who runs our Twitter account, crushing it 100% of the time. He's got new social features he's been putting up there, talking about games that are coming out this week or the week of, talking about games we've been playing, talking about old games that have come out this week, years ago. He's been crushing it. And if you want to take a moment, follow George at jcruzalvarez26 on Twitter. And let him know that you appreciate him. If you like the Twitter stuff that George is doing, you can also follow us on Instagram, Irrational Passions on Instagram. He also crushes it there. He puts in so much work and considers every picture that is posted on our Twitter account, he considers how Twitter is going to crop it for you. I want you to know that that is how much George cares about this. And it is, in my humble opinion, of our tier of website, of the fucking DE tier of no one gives a shit, the best Twitter account out there. Take that, OK Beast. I'm calling you out.
Damn.
He does a great job. So please go follow that. If not for me, then for George Cruz and all the work he puts into it. Some other
Tony.
stuff. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Are you getting Monster Hunter on PC?
Yes.
Okay.
It was up for contention months ago. But now you're
it's been months now, and so I'm like, I'll play this with my bros.
Hell yeah.
Because I haven't played it in months. That's how it goes.
It's true. It goes with bros. Other stuff, rate and review the show on iTunes and Stitcher and Google Play. Check out our other shows, Inputs, which just hit their 50th episode. Go give it a listen and get acquainted. Excited about the stuff I'm working on for Get Acquainted. I know there was no June episode. I apologize for that, but we're going to make it up for it in July with a banger. Club banger. And for everything else, Irrational Passions, irrationalpassions.com is the place to go. Andrew, where can people follow you if they don't already?
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at Papa Drew Bear. I tweet a lot of stuff on there. I don't know if you saw that Twitter has been this purge of all these fake accounts. I was really hoping they were going to start purging accounts that people don't use anymore, and I would totally get Andrew Taylor because that person does not use that account. And then there's also AJR, my middle initials. That one's still taken too. But yeah, so I'm stuck with Papa Drew Bear, unfortunately.
Dude, it's hot. Don't worry about it.
It's all right. But yeah, follow me there. That's about it.
What about your Twitch streams, if you ever bring those back?
Yeah, I was actually going to Twitch stream today, but I decided to instead be a responsible human being and completely clean our apartment. So if you want to follow me on Twitch, I believe it is Papa Dome Shot. It's just Papas everywhere.
Papa.
Yeah, just Papa here, Papa there. But yeah, I'm just gonna double check real quick.
I wanna tell you something, Andrew.
Sure.
I like it when you call me Big Papa.
Ooh, yeah.
I think the best running joke between us that I love still is anytime I call you Poppy, you say triggered.
Triggered. It's Papa Dome Shot.
There you go.
Yep.
Papa Drew Bear, Papa Dome Shot.
There you go.
Play Siege with Andrew. He needs friends.
I'm gonna play some Siege this week and stream it.
No, we're gonna play Resident Evil 5, dude.
I just bought it.
Hell yeah, you did. My guy.
Yep. It's downloading on the PS4.
But, all that bullshit's aside, Andrew.
Yeah.
You know what time it is.
Yep.
Now, it's time for bets. This week's bet. I thought long and hard on this one, which is to say about 14 seconds I gave it consideration. How many discrete and standalone tweets will the @Sonic_Hedgehog official Twitter account send between the end of this podcast and the end of next podcast?
What's its current one that it's sending out? Right now?
I got you, dude. Don't worry. I gotta fucking type in this goddamn URL. So this past week, so in a 7-day period, it is sent 1, 2. Oh, that's a retweet. Doesn't count. 5 tweets. 5 tweets in a week. The big thing, Sonic Mania Plus is coming out next week. So I assume some tweets are going down. Andrew, here's the thing. So we're splitting into 2 teams, as you know.
Okay.
Last time you were on, it was Scott and me versus Nabishin and Tony. That's over. We're in the new year. So we are now Nabishin and myself, Team Nanashi, and Tony and Scott, which are the current generated meme team. Here's my thing. We fucked up last week. I asked Scott and Tony, hey, is Bless Online still the running joke of the internet? And we were wrong. It's big dick energy. Like, where the fuck were you two?
I haven't heard of that one.
Oh, BDE? Man, let me tell you about my BDE. Tony, I'm gonna, obviously it comes down to you two. I think the meme team should be big dick energy right now.
Oh my.
Team BDE.
Team BDE.
I mean, I could be into it.
Okay.
Tentatively.
So here's the thing. Team BDE, currently the underdog, Andrew. So I'm electing you to their team.
Okay.
By default.
So this is big dick energy, correct?
So you got big dick energy right now. You are betting for Team BDE. If you guys want to type in your answers in the chat and send them when you're ready. I gotta. In the meantime, I will pull up the thing that we're pulling for last week's bet.
What's the? Can you link me the Twitter? What's the
Sonic_Hedgehog? It's a very meme-malicious Twitter account. Oh, I see your visual aid now, Tony. That's what I was looking at as well. All right.
Just give me a second here.
Dude, what are you waiting on right now?
I'm like gauging things here. I'm looking at, I'm like, they could go like 5.
Uh-huh.
But then like there might be some big Sonic news dropping this week.
There could be some BDE Sonic news.
I'm going to go with 6. I'll put that in the chat.
Okay. I bet 11. Scott bet 2. Nabishin bet 7. Tony bet 9. Andrew bet 6. That's a good spread. I like that. Good job, guys. I'm proud of all of you. Big dick energy. Last week's bet. On July 13th, Octopath Traveler releases on the Nintendo Switch. On the IGN written review, how many times will the term RPG be used in the written review? Full disclosure, Seth Macy wrote the review for Octopath Traveler. He is my internet dad. I did not have any influence on this review, though. I promise you all.
So I kind of messed up when I made this bet.
Yeah.
Because I know it was written as RPG, but I meant to put JRPG.
Okay.
So that was a thought I had, but like it depends like how do you want to count it. Okay. It kind of doesn't matter, but I'm just asking. Do you want JRPG to be part of this, or
let's see if it will make a difference.
It doesn't. That's what I'm asking right now.
Okay.
The winner's the winner.
Yeah, you're right. We have a clear winner. I think it's author's intent, you know. If you meant JRPG, we can do it. JRPG. You were very tired last week. It doesn't make a difference, right?
No.
So I think that's acceptable.
So the total is 5 then.
Total is 5. Scott bet 4, which makes him the winner. For reference, I bet 10, Nabishin bet 11, Tony bet 7. So no matter which way you split it, the BDE boys had it. Which I just want to call you guys that forever now. Which brings the team total of 26 on BDE versus 38 on Team Nanashi. Now, here's my thing, Nabishin. We have quite the lead right now. Is there a double down on NATO situation we can find ourselves in so as to close the gap?
How much of a lead we have?
We have a 12-point lead.
Oh, yeah, we should have been done that.
to be fair, E3 had a big influence on that. How? I mean, we'll figure that out off mic because there should be some careful consideration if we're about to double down on NATO.
Yeah, you can't just call in NATO.
Yeah, I can't just call NATO. He lives in Australia.
I mean, you could. It's like noon there on a Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, long distance calling. You know how that's the rates.
That's not a thing anymore.
Yeah, dude.
My bad.
Let me call Collect real quick. Will you accept the chargers? Don't ever say that to BDE. That's it for bets. That's the show. Andrew, thanks for coming on, man.
Thanks for having me on. It's been fun. I'm still trying to acknowledge BDE because like I'm considering getting it put on a T-shirt.
Yeah,
but like like
you're just gonna print Team BDE.
Like no, like BDE, like down the shirt.
Yeah.
Vertically, but then it has like big dick energy.
Yeah.
And like just wear that at the gym and just get sweaty and swollen it.
Get sweaty and swole, man. That's what the kids are into. I approve this. I think it's a great idea. The next Irrational Passion shirt will be that. It'll be Andrew, like an image of sweaty Andrew Taylor on a treadmill wearing a shirt that says Big Dick Energy.
Oh yes, please.
That's actually a really great shirt idea.
I approve. Yeah, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Dude, I love you, man. I miss you.
I love you. I miss you guys.
Always a pleasure. Thank you everyone for listening. I hope I brought it this week versus last week when we were sleepy boys. Sleepy boys.
Hell yeah. I mean, that's what you get with the live show.
It's true. Yeah, we're doing it live. I'll tell you, man, my back hurts from sitting in this position for a while.
Mine hurts from carrying the team. Tell me about it.
You need to take your big dick energy down a notch, my man. Thank you to Danny Wiesner for opening music of Two Player Co-op and our closing music of The World Is Saved. One more time, thank you to Andrew Taylor for joining us. Thank you, Scott.
Final word.
Yeah. Scott, you've won Danny Juarez's love and affection. Thank you for always reminding me. I always forget. Do you have any final word? Anything you want to reiterate or you disagreed with?
Let's. You know what? Because I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're wrong about God of War.
My man. Thank you everyone for listening. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Nabishin, for joining me. As always, I love you all. Big hugs all the way around. I've been your host, Alex O'Neill. Play your games. Stay rational. We will talk to you all next week.
Title.
Now, Andrew, you know not to stop recording, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't stop.
Okay, good. You made it sound like you did for a second.
I almost did. Yeah.
I wanted to say something beforehand, but I trusted you. Tony, titles. Titless.
One sec. I'm logged into my work's Google Drive, so I gotta switch back real quick.
All these Google documents.
Yeah.
Ooh, now I can lean back. Ooh, yeah.
Oh, it switched me back to work. Hold on. Here we are. Okay. Let's see.
I didn't even read this first fucking title. It's so good.
I saw that like mid podcast and I was like,
all right. So the titles this week. Watching Daredevil with my son is the only way I can get off. Podcast handle status lit. Yeah, it's called Thinking. Where we dropping, bro? Would you support a company feeding kids? Fisher Price Fortnite. All Might Maine. The Last of Us Plus Boy. I Don't Hang with Losers. And BDE, Big Dick Energy.
Man, these are fucking club bangers all time right here. Watching Daredevil with my son is the only way I get off.
Yo, if they put out a My Hero Academia fighting game, I 100% will main All Might. Just
it's coming out. We talked about it. It's coming out in October.
If it actually comes out.
It will.
If it actually comes out.
Oh man, I hope that game's like decent. I'm sure it's not gonna be amazing.
It's not.
But
It's not.
is it gonna be a fighting game?
Yeah, it's a fighting game.
Yeah.
Okay.
It might be like fine though. Like, if it's like almost as good as Ultimate Ninja Storm, it'll be fine. Like I'll be here for it. That's all I want, Nabishin. My standards are so low, let me tell you.
And my standards are so high now. We got a fucking Kill la Kill game coming soon, and fucking Dragon Ball.
And Arc System's doing the Kill la Kill game, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they're gonna crush it. Sure. I mean, at this point, just make Arc System Works make all anime fighting games. Like,
even the Ninja Storm games were amazing at the end of it. So like,
yeah.
CyberConnect
got it. Give it to CyberConnect, man. They fucking got shafted on the Final Fantasy VII project. You know, Square Enix was like, "Fuck this garbage." Man, I honestly, Andrew, what do you want the title to be? These are all great. Out of context, Scott is maybe the best Scott that there is. Would you support a company beating kids?
Like that one is good. Fisher Price Fortnite. Watching Daredevil with my son is the only way I get out. Like, you need something. You need something to draw the folks in.
Yeah.
I don't know. My favorite is it's called Thinking.
Scott, you had like multiple very good titles this week, so
No, that was the options.
no. Oh yeah, it's true. That was an option, but it was in response to what you had set me up for. What do you like, Andrew? Feed me.
I do like watching Daredevil.
It's so good. I don't know if it should be the title of the podcast, but it's certainly the theme of the podcast.
Yeah. Maybe Fisher Price Fortnite or BDE.
You got to pick one, dude. Come on.
I mean, okay, what about would you support a company beating kids?
Okay. Nabishin, what do you want the title to be?
Like all these are like great, but like probably like Fisher Price Fortnite would be the one.
Okay. Tony.
No input. I like them all.
God, you and your indecisiveness. I say that not knowing what the fuck I want the title to be. I really like Where We Dropping, bro, but like that's just because.
Let's do Fisher Price.
He likes I don't hang with losers.
Sure. Let's do Fisher Price Fortnite. I agree. That's fine. That's a good one. And it's a good Andrew Taylor quote. It's a good tweet, Andrew.
Thank you.
I can say the title. Andrew, I'll write out what I want you to say.
Okay.
That's what I want you to say. Say it for me.
I'm just kidding.
I was like, wait a second. This podcast got really explicit.
It started explicit, dude. Remember how bonus content opened?
Yeah, that's true.
This is my jerk off candle. Just saying. We are 35 episodes away from 420. You gotta start thinking about it, guys. I did not spell this word right.
And you call yourself a writer.
You're right. I fucked up. I quit. I'm done. Whenever you're ready.
Oh, just right now?
Yeah, dude. This is all you, man.
Okay. All right. I don't know how it works. You're listening to Irrational Passions Podcast, episode 385.
Fisher Price Fortnite. That's it. That's the show.
Cool.
Thanks everybody for watching. I love each and every one of you watching. Not anyone that's not watching. They're all dead to me.
Damn.
You can stop recording now.
I stopped recording a little early.
That's fine.